So my PC just decided to restart. I love Windows, dude. Fantastic. One of these days I'm gonna switch to a Linux setup because I'm tired of Windows, bro. I actually need Windows to be a little bit more convenient for gaming. Somebody to make a solid OS for gaming, and I'm all good. But what I was talking about was, um, so yeah, like during training, I would go from house to house, car to car. Like I was living like a hitchhiker. And I remember at one particular house, this is important to the story. I believe it was Ali's house. There was a pool in the back and stuff. I'm not exactly sure whose house it was. I think it was Unum's. But I was getting ready to sleep on the sofa. It's like 2:30 a.m. or something like that. And I hear this like crew talking next to me. They're on the sofa with me, or like on the sofa next to me. It was one. It was a pretty long one. So they were talking about like, oh, there might be a rat in the group chat, like a snitch, like telling the LPTs about our sleepovers. And I remember hearing that because it made sense. Remember, we're all breaking the rules. And I think even making a separate group chat would be against the rules. I don't know if there's a rule for it, because I don't know if there's a precedent for it, but it definitely would be against the rules to make a group chat without the LPT. And what's weird is whenever people wanted to have sleepovers or invite people or whatever, people would post in there like 3 to 5 people every night would post, "Oh, I'm having a sleepover. Yo, anyone trying to come through?" And then people would decide whose sleepover they wanted to go to. They'd basically RSVP in that group chat. That's what it was for. It's for breaking the rules. However, every time people would have sleepovers, particularly like not even just like um, hanging out or whatever, but whenever people had sleepovers, the LPTs somehow always knew about it. And like we noticed that they would try to be really slick. Like they didn't say anything to the people who weren't active in the group chat. But whenever people were like at like a pretty major sleepover or whatever, or they ended up showing up like a little bit late or whatever, they're like, so they would try to imply that like they would try to bring up the rules again. Oh, by the way, sleepovers are not allowed, or whatever. They were like trying to be really slick, but we kind of noticed like, hey, they might. It's like somebody might be telling them what's going on. So we started to suspect people, and that's where the conversation started. And I was only like half asleep. I wasn't asleep all the way, but they like kind of woke me up, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think?" And then we decided to leave that place and meet up with some people at Rhea Merchant's house. I think it was because we may have suspected that someone there at Anam's house that night might be the rat. Like, there's too many suspects, so we only gathered the people that we could absolutely trust. Legit, we were on that like Splinter Cell shit, dude. I felt like a fucking detective. And I remember, I believe we were watching the Olympics at Ria's house, and the conversation was continued over there, and it was like 10 people or so. And now, at this point, we had our suspects pretty narrowed down by the time we got there, because we were talking in the car and all that. I was pretty much asleep for the majority of the time, so I wasn't really contributing much to the conversation. I was just like listening in here and there. Um, so we had our suspects, and then we started to investigate. I was doing none of this. I was watching the Olympics, getting ready to fall asleep, but they were going through the group chat, the group chat, to see like any patterns of anything. And we realized there's one person who lines up pretty perfectly with knowing information, with that same information being exposed to the LPTs that they go off on us for. And you know who it is? Ariba motherfucking Lakani. The person who threw the first sleepover. and who made the original group chat to begin with. And if she was indeed the rat, that would have been top 10 anime betrayals of 2016, all right? She was the last person we expected. But everything lined up. The first sleepover, we thought about it, the first sleepover was bait. It was all planned out beforehand. Like, and she made the group chat so quickly. Like, nobody had even talked about the fact that we needed a separate group chat. She just made it. So we had our prime suspect. After all, she was like super good friends with one of the LPT named Anusha Charania. And while we were searching the group chat, we were looking for patterns because the group chat was huge. So many people were talking in it. One of us found buried deep in the time machine of the group chat archive. It was like very, very early when she was still adding members and adding participants. It said LPT member Anusha Charania was added to the group chat when LPTs weren't even supposed to know this existed. Only to immediately Anusha Charania left the group chat. So she noticed and she left. And guess who added her? Ariba motherfucking Lakani. We had our rats. Now, I'm not going to speak on the morality of betraying the trust people put in you by ratting them out, deceptively hiding stuff from them, while being fake enough to pretend like you're still on the same team as them. I'm not going to speak on the ethics of that, okay? It's not time for that conversation. I still got people around me who are like fans of Takashi, who are like, oh, Takashi 69 goated, bro, he's the GOAT. They say cringe shit like that. They dick ride whoever's popular just because they're popular. I'll wait until they bandwagon on some newer trends and leave Takashi alone. I'll wait on that till to hurt their feelings after that. Tell them that, like, hey, Takashi's actually a fucking piece of shit for that. So Ariba was the rat. And we were all kids. Like, I can't blame her for, like, she's probably grown into a totally different person at this point. So her and Anusha Charania were friends. It's funny because I left such a terrible impression on Anusha that her little sister, like, basically threatened me after all this stuff happened. And you know what? During a separate camp, during this one day lockdown thing, I had Anusha again as my counselor. Her little sister is Alama Charania. I think I maybe mentioned her before. I never talked about her legit. And the three of them were friends. Well, kinda. You know how it goes. It's complicated, right, chat? You know the deal. I got a story about Alama, too. I can't remember what it was. I know I have a story. I think I have multiple. No, I don't. I have to ask somebody for, like, the pictures or whatever. But I remember the story. It was funny. I'll tell it next after this, if I remember. But so, okay, yeah. So Ariba's the rat. So I start telling people that I'm cool with, like Reza, Remu, and them, and the swim team, and stuff like that. And they go like, yeah, it makes sense. They are pretty close friends. They were like the closest of friends. So we know for sure who's behind it now. We have it confirmed. We don't know if there's another rat. We doubt it. But, I mean, she's the one. She made the group. She's the catalyst behind all this. And on that day of investigation at Ria's house, we overslept. Well, I didn't, but the rest of them did. I tend to, when I'm in these environments, I tend to be able to wake up pretty easily. And so we head out, and we show up like 20 minutes late to training that day. And they like chewed us out for like a couple seconds, basically, in front of everyone, all like 10 of us. But regardless, it had been a very productive night. And like if like a group of 10 people walk in at the same time, and they're all late, it can be implied, it can be inferred that there was a sleepover. So yeah, after this point, all of the pieces were in place. This is all the prefacing I need to do. And I knew, like, okay, time to have a bit of fun, time to see what this camp has to offer to me, time to take advantage of my opportunities, my situation here. Now, I had this special combination going for me. First, I wasn't afraid to be bold. Second, I was pretty much universally liked by everyone, and people were cool with like giving me rides and letting me stay at their place overnight, stuff like that. And third, I was a part of the swim team, which meant I had the whole floor to myself, no supervision from the LPT or any security there. Because, like, they were already spread thin as it was at that point. There's no point in, like, sending people all the way down to the pool area just to supervise a group of, like, 5 kids. Especially when, like, 2 of the kids are, like, actual adults, And they'll supervise. And so all these things combined, these 3 things, put me in this really unique position to take advantage of the utmost freedom that nobody else at the camp had. First of all, oh wait, I gotta mention this. Every single day, because of my position, I would get all the leftovers from everything. We had like occasional sweets and stuff like that, and the LPTs were kind of like they didn't have very much self control. They're like millennials and shit. So it's like they themselves were not about to be like super strict on the camp, not like actually being healthy and shit. So we'd get sugary stuff quite a lot. And I remember there was one day where we ended it off with cupcakes, and we thought we didn't have enough, so we cut all the cupcakes into halves, and each person got half a cupcake, which is like, that's cool, whatever, right? So we had a box of them, and this was as people were leaving, and we're like handing out the cupcakes to everybody. And like pretty much after the majority of people left, like after all the guides and most of the counselors were gone, it's like me and a couple LPT and like a few people left, a couple logistic people and stuff. And I decided to get a ride with one of the counselors. I'm not sure who. No, I think it was with Rayhan, because I remember I was in a Jeep. But this is my strategy. It was like wait for only a few counselors to be left, so that way when there's only a handful, it's like more intimate. Like I had an understanding of the bystander effect at the time, so I'm like, I don't want to. I want to make them feel like it's a bit more pressing that I'm left behind and I don't have a car. So then I'll ask them for a ride. So I did that. I waited till there was only a few people left. And it did give them a bit of a hard time, but the method didn't work when I tried to do it where there was a lot more people around. They'd be like, "Oh no, I can't. I don't get time." So I was playing the strategy game at this point in the camp, and because on this day they had like leftovers of cupcakes because they kind of didn't do the math right. And I was like universally liked, and I was the youngest one there who had stayed that late. They let me keep all the leftover cupcakes. And they miscalculated so much that it turns out there were like 10 halves left, which meant like 5 full cupcakes. Bro, I should have just called EDP over, told him I had extra. That would have been the good ending, the good timeline. But yeah, they let me take the whole box with me. And I finished them all on my ride back to someone's house. I don't know who I went with. I was riding in the Jeep Wrangler, but I don't remember whose house I ended up at. It's all kind of a blur at this point. I have this picture. It's in my Google Photos, one sec. It's Yeah, this was what they see. That's my hand. You could tell because of how skinny it is. So yeah, I ate this one at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you know what? I liked vanilla better than I like chocolate, and I still do. I love vanilla way more than chocolate. So I'm so glad everybody ate the chocolate ones. Um, but yeah, I ate all of these. Damn, bro, this is like, I'm gonna leave that picture up there. Actually, this is legit EDP's dream camp, bro. Underage kids and cupcakes. That's like a buy one get one free. Damn, I shouldn't even make EDP jokes right now. Actually, I should make EDP jokes. I should. But yeah, that's a classic joke. It's cupcakes. But yeah, I was hopping from house to house, car to car. I spent like a little over a week actually not seeing my like family even once, or like even going to my house, or even talking on the phone with them or with anyone, because like I didn't carry a charger, and my phone died like a couple days into the camp, and I only got the chance to charge it like another 2 times throughout the camp. So yeah, it was like straight hitchhiker, just super intimate. I was always just in the moment, never on my phone, never thinking about other things. I could dedicate a lot of my brain power to the situation at hand, and that's what I did. Um, it was like I spent a good chunk of my time just like relaxing. Like I would walk around Emory a lot, because remember everyone was on the upper floors and it was like super hectic, and they couldn't be bothered to keep the swim team organized. They just figured that like we'd handle ourselves without supervision. Because like there were also, out of the 5 of us, it was also a female majority. It was 3 females and 2 males, and one of the males was the like older brother kind of archetype that like they all knew of. Like he's going to be responsible no matter what. He doesn't need to be supervised. And this is like a good decision on the camp's part to like allocate more resources to the areas where it tends to get more out of hand, you know? Because when the participants come down to the pool, then there's other counselors and there's other guides and there's other safety people and there's lifeguards and all that stuff. So then they show up. But when when there's nothing going on, and we're just chilling in the bottom part. I mean, we're allowed to like go around, go upstairs, do whatever. It would just be weird if we interfered with other people. But it's like such a huge area and so many steps to like walk up there that like going up and down repeatedly would be like inconvenient for most people. I didn't care. I enjoyed the walk. But it was a good decision on their part to dedicate all of their staff and all their security resources to every place except for the swimming area. The only miscalculation on their part was that they didn't consider the fact that I'm me. If it was anybody else, they would have been totally fine. It would have been a good investment on their part. Investment of resources. Actually, it wasn't the only miscalculation. The camp could have done a lot of things better. There's a lot of things Camp Mosaic could improve on. And it's not even like these are things that like you wouldn't expect me, especially considering I'm admitting right now that I was like a menace to the camp. Even I can improve on things. Just overall decision making. Like I even saw one of the dudes later, like Azim Master and this other dude, in the airport like a year later, and they were like, "So like, what's the deal? Why was Mosaic all like that?" And I told them, I'm like, it was just a bad, like, ratio. Like you guys didn't handle things right. Like you guys did not handle logistics right. Kids were getting lost all over the place, and it's like I made the camp fun for the kids. If you guys had handled everything right, then you would have the right to speak about me screwing around with the camp. But you guys didn't handle it right, and you didn't make it fun. At least I made it fun. At least I did something that you guys didn't. And the dude was like, "You always got an answer for everything." So, yeah, it would. I think I could make the camp a bit. Some would not consider it better, but I would consider it better. But then anyone can make the camp what they themselves consider to be better. Like after what I saw, of the situation with the swimming thing, I firmly believe that like Camp Mosaic, and other camps like it, should always allocate more females than males to handle swimming. And actually, they should handle almost all females if they're even going to have any males at all. And they should only be the safest, the absolute safest females to handle swimming. If there was any less girls, it would have been way too chaotic. They probably would have needed to put some staff down there. I could barely handle like the situation that I was in. Like the kids would troll you. Like it's hard to like discipline them in the water. They kind of do whatever the hell they want. Like bro, I remember some of the kids would like pretend like they were drowning. And dude, if it was all like all guys instead of three girls and one guy, some of the kids probably would have drowned. But yeah, it would be a bit egocentric of me to say that I know what's better for the camp, because I know people that would go, no, what you want for the camp is actually not what I want for the camp, and ultimately it's just what I would want for the camp. Saying it's better is it's a bit arrogant to say. It's not my place to say that sort of thing. After all, I was only a guide, and I only went there once as a guide, and I was only a guide for swimming. I didn't have like a super major role, you know? So, and actually I was hardly even a guide at that. Like I would really take advantage of my situation. I didn't do the stuff that the other guides did. Like they had like a storage room, like full of like food and snacks, and like only staff people and like the food people were allowed to go in there. And everybody else had like supervision. Like the groups had supervision, and all the counselors had supervision. The sports guides had supervisions. The swim team didn't. We were the only ones. And so I would go upstairs and just like casually walk into the snack room. Nobody else would be there because like they didn't expect anybody else to be there. But I would just walk in there, take like a jar of peanut butter, and just like finish that whole shit in like a day. Bro, I actually nearly threw up from the amount of snacks I was eating. Sometimes other people came with me. Sometimes it was rare though. Occasionally you'd see somebody like leave their position or whatever, and things would be taken care of on their end, like on autopilot basically, and they'd come with me. Sometimes there was a couple times where Eliza came with me, and we took like that huge box of goldfish and stuff. Bro, that shit was unreal, because the giant like the gallon things of goldfish, like the cartons of goldfish, it's so difficult to eat so many of those, but like she was able to keep up with my pace of eating goldfish. No, I've never seen anyone like do it at the same pace as me. Like she ate just as much as me. I'm impressed actually, because we legit finished all of that goldfish in like 2-3 days. But yeah, it was a vibe. It was a vibe. I was just, I'd say about a third of my time was spent going around, just exploring, going on little side quests, little mini adventures. I became friends with a few of the college students. Not necessarily. I became acquainted with the college students, but I became friends with some of the college staff, and I became friends with some of the staff of another camp that they were doing in Emory at the time. Because I went to that camp, the same camp, earlier that summer. It was ID Tech camp, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, I also became friends with a couple of the people in the college staff. In particular, there was this one lady who managed the giant laundry machines, and I also became friends with a couple of the patrol dudes. But dude, the Emory laundry machines are a fucking miracle, dude. Like it makes you realize how shitty all the other laundry machines are. Like the way it would be is like, let me open up Firefox again. So, yeah, okay. Wait, no, this is the wrong side. This is the diving. Damn, bro. It's not going to show any from the other angle. What's it called? What's it called? No, I already searched that. Okay. So they had like a ton, but in front they had like huge, huge laundry machines. Like they had ones that were like legit taller than me. Like the circles were like 5 feet. Like they were massive, massive laundry machines. Damn, is there a good picture? This is a good picture. But so those laundry machines, like, actually, I wonder what those laundry machines were. I kind of want some, because every other laundry machine is so garbage compared to them. Like, it's like that meme where it's like damn, hold up. It's like this meme right here, where it's like, this is the laundry machines at Emory, and this is the laundry machines that everybody else has in their homes and their apartments and shit. It's like, oh, I can't take lights and darks together at the same time. I'll mix up the clothes. And you can't put like a month's worth of clothing. You gotta split it up into like two different loads. You gotta put only like 2 weeks at a time. And you know, after you wash the clothes, you gotta put it in the dryer. You gotta take it from washer to dryer afterwards, and that takes like an extra hour. Like, nah, dude. Like, this is what we had at Emory, bro. I would legit, like, I would walk out. I would hand my swimming shorts to the lady there. I'd changed and everything. I'd hand my swimming shorts to the lady. She'd throw it in the machine. Since like nobody else was there, and she didn't mind helping me out. And then I'd walk upstairs. I'd like go up there, grab some gummy snacks or whatever, walk back down, and then she'd hand me my swimming shorts, like washed and dried. In the time it took me to walk upstairs and back down, it was done, clean, ready to go, ready to use again, so I could be ready for when the next group came. Like, goddamn, dude. That was... Every luxury apartment complex, in my opinion, should have an area where people could just, like, bring their laundry, and there's a person at the front desk there who could just, like, put it in the machines for them. That shit made me feel like such a king, dude. But, I mean, like, it wasn't intended for us. And really, the way I would just flirt with the girl at the... Like, she was, like, a college student or something, like, doing that as a part-time job or something like that, and I don't think she knew I was underage. But yeah, I'm sure those machines are actually meant for like commercial size loads of like chlorine filled bathing suits, like sweat and chlorine filled bathing suits of like 100 different swimmers, and they can clean it all like super quickly and flawlessly all at once. I definitely was not supposed to be using those machines. I know that. I think I'm 99% sure I was breaking the rules by doing that. But goddamn, those machines were awesome. I want to get some of those machines in my place. I'm gonna make a note of that. I'm gonna watch this whole video back, and I actually, should I make a note? Nah, I'll remember. If it's important, I'll remember. But yeah, I had a lot of freedom. I walked around, I blasted music. And like nobody else could do this. Like, just perks of being on the swim team, I guess. I should also mention, they called me Afubai. Because Bai sort of means like, Bai means bro, Bai means brother. But like if you say it like Bai, like Bhai, but like you don't worry so much about the emphasis on the H. Like people in America just go like Afubai. And it's because these dudes who were older than me, who knew me since I was little, who would like come to my house, and like my mom would go, Afu, come here, whatever, and they'd hear that and they'd like tease me, make fun of me, the same way you do with your friends. So they started to just call me that, and everybody else in the camp started to call me that too. Oh shit, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. Fuck. Now people in chat are gonna call me Afu from now on. Well, too late to stop it now. I swear, I need a kill switch for my stream. Or I need to turn on stream delay, actually. Holy shit. Oh well, Afu it is. I think people are gonna forget it pretty soon, so. But yeah, they call me that. Dude, I can't believe I just fucked that up, dude. I can't believe that shit. Okay, so moving on. So the swim team, let me go through the roster, okay? Of like the people that were around and chilling. So first was Azra, okay? She had a sister who was also a counselor, and she was like her sister was like, she was always walking around, and I think she was like she was managing a lot of stuff, so I'd see her whenever I went up to the storage room to like get some snacks or food or whatever. Her name was Doc. Actually, it wasn't Doc, it was Nida Moldina, but we called her Doc, and I think it was because she wanted to become a OGBYN or some shit like that. Oh, you think it's a OBGYN? No, you're wrong. It's OGBYN. I'm telling you, I'm correct, you guys. It's OGBYN is what it is. It's OG Balling Young Niggas. That's what it stands for. So yeah, we called her Doc. And I don't know what happened to her. I don't know if she ever did become. It's like, I did see her occasionally after that, but I don't know if she ever ended up doing that. I don't know if she ever ended up becoming a doctor. But even like years later, even when she was supposed to become a doctor by that point, I still just called her Doc. Yeah, those two were cool. Azra was dating this other dude named Ashis, and this is how I know the bystander effect is a real thing, because when this dude told me he was gonna give me rides, and I asked him, and he flaked on me on 3 separate occasions. He was 0 for 3, and he basically forced other people who had a much more inconvenient situation to give me rides instead. Like, bro, be a man of your word. Like, he was an actual adult by that time. So, okay, there's everybody else in the roster. Damn, I keep going off on tangents. I need to like, I'm not operating off much sleep right now, but the other counselor. So there were 2 counselors. The other counselor was Juju. And he was cool. He knew how to swim. But yeah, I didn't know much about him, and I still don't. Azra, I knew and I saw even after camp, just like how I saw Anita. Azra told me a very interesting story about a sin that was committed. I'm hungry. And it's a sin that I cannot say. And I still talked to both of them like very, very sparsely. In fact, the place where she told me the story was in the USIG video in the 2019. I'll actually pull it up right now. Let me go here. So like this is neither like a
We're just
that's
dancing. Hey,
neither
that's good, bro.
so that's her.
Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. So well done. I love it.
And then Azra is right here, like she's on the left of me, and she goes like, okay, so you're his paparazzi. You can hear her. Listen.
Congratulations. So well done. I love it. I have so much work.
And she goes, and I'm her paparazzi.
Okay.
Is that how that works? I guess. You're taking pictures?
Are you doing video?
Yeah.
You taking pictures? Yeah. You taking video? Yeah. And that's Uzra right there. This is Uzra. And
Sure, go for it, I guess.
And that's Nita. And that's my brother for us. And this is their like rehearsal. But yeah. And then when they like actually performed. Yeah. Okay.
No one would even remember that.
Okay. So this is Nida.
You can't yell right in the front row. I was like, bro, calm down. They're like yelling like, who?
If I had an in-ear mic, then I would have.
In your monitor, not in your mic. I noticed that when she said that. That bothered me that she said that.
Fine, but I didn't. So I'm glad you here.
And then that's Uzra. She looks so different in this picture than she did back in Mosaic. Like she looks super different, and she looks older than her sister, right? Nah, her sister Nida is 3 years older than her. She was 18 at the time, and Nida was 21 at the time. But yeah, so I still saw them occasionally. Like she would Nida would come to my house to record with Faraz and stuff. But yeah, it was very sparse, and it was only for the purpose of recording music and stuff, because like she sang. But okay, yeah. Juju didn't leave much of an impression, actually. He did leave an impression, but it's not like I ever talked to him after. No, I did talk to him one time after that, where I showed up to, I don't know what the hell, I showed up to like GSU. This was like a year later, and I showed up to GSU, not because I was going, I didn't go to college, I didn't go to GSU. I was still in school, high school, and I was just hanging out with a few college kids, and he was just there in the dorm, like he had like moved to Atlanta, and even the main LPT guy, like Anis Bamani or something like that, he had moved there as well, and he was also like living there, and we like played Smash Bros and stuff. But yeah, other than that, he didn't really leave much of an impression on me. And then the rest of the team was the guides, which was like there was me, the tried and true hooligan at heart, and then Eliza. Holy shit, dude. Eliza, like, okay, listen, she looked normal, and I'm not really into brown girls like that, but when she had wet hair, like, is it just me? Like, that can't just be me. Like, whenever any of those girls had wet hair, that would instantly double their ranking, at least. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know why that did it, but, like, Eliza, dude, she went from, like, a 2 to a 7 with wet hair. Like, actually different person. And I also learned at this camp that it takes a long time for girls' hair to dry off. Like, I couldn't comprehend what took them so long to get out of the locker rooms. Like, I'd tell them, I'd like text them while I was out there, I'd be like, hey, yo, what y'all doing? Come outside, let's hang out. And after they'd come out, I'd see, like, day after day, even after I dried my hair like completely, they'd walk out with like still soaked hair, and they'd still keep a towel on them even after they walked, even after like 20 minutes. And I'm like, this is the first time hearing about this. Like, if girls complain so much about guys rushing them, why don't they just explain this? Because I had no idea. If you just had told me this, I wouldn't be rushing you so much. And lastly is Sheza. Bro, she was such a bitch to me, dude. But I don't really mind. I don't really, like, it's not, like, she was such a bitch to me in the way that it's not, like, she was, like, a minor annoyance. Bitch to me is, like, a bit over, that's, like, a bit of an exaggeration. Like, she was cool, you know? I think I'd still be cool with her to this day. I don't know if she'd be cool with me, but I'd be cool with her. Actually, there was the purest example of her being, like this, like, sort of, like, I don't know how you describe it. But like, okay, see, there was one day. See, there's no supervision. We're all on our own here. So the rest of the groups were like off doing something, and like we had finally had a break. We got like a 1 hour break this day, where they separated like, okay, in between groups 3 and 4, we're gonna give you guys a 1 hour break, and like, swimming takes a toll, you guys. Like we were tired, so we found this like one soft bench on like the floor above. It was in between the place where like where we would do the debriefs and the place where there was like the more intimate stuff where they had like where they did all the mason jars and stuff like that. So in between there was like these like sofas, and I show up and I like there's actually like one main sofa, and like the rest are like chairs and stuff. And I get there first and I lay down on like the sofa, and I'm just chilling, like about to fall asleep. And I know like when it comes time for me to like fulfill my responsibilities, somebody will come looking for me, yelling at me like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get back to." So I knew somebody was gonna, like during transition, they were gonna wake me up, right? And so I'm ready to fall asleep, and she shows up like 30 seconds to a minute after me, and she's like 2 feet tall. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm 6 feet at this point. I stopped growing pretty early. I was 6 feet by the time I was 16, and I've stayed 6 feet this entire time. And this couch can like barely hold me. I'm kind of curled up on it actually. It's like kind of a small couch, and there's this like ottoman for the couch. It was like a curved couch kind of, and there's like ottoman footrest thing that like goes with the couch, that like she could totally fit on, but I can't. I'm too big for it. And she goes like, "Get up, I want to sleep here," and I'm like, "What? No, just sleep on the ottoman thing." And she's like, "Be a gentleman. That's not very gentleman-like of you," or whatever. I don't think she said it this many times, but like in my head, she's like, "Real gentlemen give up their seat for a lady." I don't think. See, I was already like super tired. I think it just ticked me off in my head. So I think I made it sound more annoying than it actually was. I think in my memory, I warped it to be something that it wasn't. I think she may have just said the word gentleman once, but that word just like really stuck with me. Oh, like I think she actually said, like, if you're a gentleman, you'd give up your seat for the lady. And at the time, I'm like, I'm relaxed. I'm like halfway into like plunging myself into the depths of REM sleep, just like listening to this bullshit, thinking to myself like, really? Real gentlemen give up their seat for the lady? Bitch, I bet you ladies nuts across your face. Like, bro, I was really on that Cosmo shit, bro. I was really, in my head, I was like, at least grow to be a lady first. I know we're both kids, but like, I yearn for the day that we can have true gender equality, bro. Bitches always want to talk about equality, but then switch it over to being a man only when it's convenient to them. Pathetic. But I mean, like, she never did get me out of that seat, so. Like, she had no power over me. That's why I didn't mind, like, I'm not like mad at her for like the way she, it's not like I didn't like, it's not like, it's like, oh, it was whatever, you know? It's like a little kid asking, like, "Hey, you got games on your phone?" Like, it's like a mild annoyance, you know? It's not like you hate the kid afterwards. I was really on that Giga Chad, like, Cosmo mindset. She still tried, though. She still tried to get me out of that seat and tried to make me do many things like that. Like, this was not an isolated incident. Like, many, many times, even after camp, she would pester me. I remember, actually, the funniest moment of training was when we were all together. All the counselors were like in their groups. Like, everybody was split off into their groups and their like respective things, right? And me and the swim team were like all the way on the right of this like U-shaped side. Like, the way it was is like, let me open up Paint real quick. So like the way it was like is holy dude, that's irate. Okay. It's way too bright, but the way it was is like the LPT were right here. Actually, this was the room. This was the room, and then there was another room right here, and then there was an area like this where it would like. This was like the downstairs area. This was a separate floor, and then this was like a railing. There was like a railing right here that you could see the downstairs area, and this was where the couch was. This was the couch I slept on, and this was the ottoman that she could have slept on, but she didn't. And this is the room where it was all like the intimate stuff was going on. That's where we did like the t-shirt signing and all that. And I remember all this stuff when I went to camp. I remember this is where like the rap was, where I rapped about stuff, did that freestyle and everything. And like, so the way it was like, let me erase this real quick. So there was like the table right here, paint, not this brush. So there was like the table right here, and like the LPT standing around, you know, and we had already given our Hong Kongs, and there was like a bunch of people, you know, in their groups, in like a U shape like this. And this is the swim team. We're all the way right here, okay? And let me erase this real quick. So the way it was is it was like Juju, Ezra, me, Sheza, and Eliza, and that's how we were sitting. I don't remember the order of these two people, but that's me on the left, that's Sheza, that's Eliza. And we're like basically, it's pretty cramped, so we're pretty much shoulder to shoulder in this situation. This was the actual funniest moment of training. So this was a debrief for that day. The LPTs were here, and they were reading Hong Kongs. We'd already given all of our Hong Kongs to them, and they were reading them out. And I remember, so at this point, I was getting a few Hong Kongs. Actually, I think I was getting more than anybody else every day. I think I was setting a new record each day that went by. So remember, I said earlier, they didn't read the inappropriate ones, but they kept them up there. And then that way, once they were done, you could all go up there. Everybody, all the counselors and everybody would go up there, and they take the sticky notes that corresponded to them, that were for them. So that way they could see the ones that the LPT didn't read out loud. So I had got, on this day, I got like, I don't know, 3 or something separate Hong Kongs that were all trolls, like, oh, a Hong Kong to Afraz, or Afu, I've had eyes for you ever since the first day of training. I can't wait to see more of you during camp. Love, your secret admirer. And like, they never read these. And these are obviously bait, right? One of the guys I mentioned earlier, probably like Sami or Ishan, they probably wrote that shit. I got like 3 of them day after day. So one day I got like 6 of them, I think. And I knew they weren't going to read it, because like they hadn't read it the day before and the day before that. So I was probably going to go up there and find some. But somehow one of them slips by and they accidentally start reading it, and they're like, shit, I guess too late. So they finish it, and everyone goes like, ooh, and it's like all in good fun. It's bait, it's a troll, everyone knows that. And then immediately afterwards, there's another Hong Kong. It literally, the one right after that is, it's a Hong Kong from Ariz. And it says, oh, from Ariz, Hong Kong to everyone on the swim team. And it says, like, I quote, it says, Hong Kong to everyone on the swim team, Juju, Azra, and Afu. And I'm sitting there with the people on the swim team next to me. And I notice Sheza and Eliza weren't even mentioned. They were forgotten. They're both sitting to my right. And under my breath, I go like, haha, he didn't say you guys. And Sheza goes like, shut up. And she like, I think she like slaps my arm or something like that, but it's like, it's whatever, you know? Just banter is all it is. But apparently, I was laughing while I was saying it. So I didn't whisper it on my breath. I said it a bit too loud. And everyone was silent. So everyone heard that shit. Like everyone in the whole U shape heard that shit. So everyone started dying laughing. And like, I just embarrassed the fuck out of these two. And that made me laugh even more, and that made this whole like feedback loop of laughter. It was like such a weird, like it went from, it was a weird roller coaster of emotion. Like it went from people teasing me, like, ooh, we got a secret admirer, to none of the swim guides even matter other than us. Straight NPCs, bro. And that shit was, dude, comedy gold. That was not even intentional. Like Ariza's way too nice of a guy to ever do something like that, to ever intentionally leave them out. But yeah, actually, wait. I have a picture here of Sheza. Look at this. So this is Anusha Charania, by the way. This is Anusha Charania. This is Anis or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but he was like the lead LPT. This is Iman. Yeah, Iman. Yeah, and this is Sheza. And this was during training, I think. Wait, was it? I don't know, but this was no, I think this was way later, because the LPT, this is 2 LPT members and they're at this thing. So this is not like some, like during training sleepover or something like that. This is after. But yeah, I think that's basically it for training. Some more stuff happened during training, like Kazan Yukani decided to make an enemy out of me for literally no reason. I don't hold any grudges, so I don't really care, but like, I don't know why he was just such a bitch to me. I don't know, it seemed like he was jealous. What else? We would ditch the bottom floor to go hang out with the groups that had the older kids in them, and like we'd play keep away with them and shit. I even had one of the participants on Skype, and we played video games together. Oh wait, never mind. It's not part of training. Okay, yeah. So that's everything for training. I think it's everything I could think of, and I'll leave that picture up there. Okay, so the camp. First off, let me just say, like, I was not expecting any of what actually happened to happen. Like, what you're thinking right now, for what it would be like to be a swim guide, to like handle kids who are swimming, what you're picturing in your head, that's not how it is at all. First of all, it's like scary. It's not relaxing. It's not like you're in a pool and you're having fun. Like, it's like the kids will like, they'll mess with you, but they don't realize that like the jokes that they make in the pool, like those kinds of jokes could like ruin your life with one little mistake. And you have to make like such like snap decisions. And it's kind of, I should have known, because it's like, obviously, you swim, adults that manage kids who swim, it's your job to like keep them alive, right? But like, you don't ever think about like, oh, that's actually a huge responsibility to place on a 16-year-old, to like keep a group, like a ratio of like another like 30 kids alive. It's a scary thing when the kids start like messing with you, pretending like they're drowning and stuff like that. Like they put their face underwater and float like they're dead, and it would make me a bit like anxious, you know. It would make me a bit worried. And Azra warned us about this. Like during training, she warned us that this would happen. And even though we knew it would happen, like it wasn't any easier to deal with. And like I wasn't like technically an adult yet, but I was still like, relative to them, I was an adult male because of the age difference. So I wasn't about to be here like dealing with these kids like, oh here, let me show you how to swim properly. Like I wasn't about to be like touching up these kids and stuff like that, you know? There's a bit of an age difference there. It's like few years. It was varying. There's quite a bit of variation in the ages of the participants, depending on the group as well. But yeah, even still, I was 16. If they're 14 or they're 13, like I would be a rising junior, or rising sophomore or whatever. Yeah, rising sophomore, I think, in high school. They'd still be in middle school. Like from that perspective, it is a huge age difference at that age. So it's like I'm not trying to. I'm smart, bro. I'm not trying to like give people the wrong idea. End up in some anime situation where people will like walk in and get a misunderstanding. Like, oh, are you just helping them swim, or are you? Nah, none of that's gonna happen. I had no fucking idea though how difficult it would be to like keep to myself and handle these kids. And I would, every time something would happen, I would call it to Azra, and she told me like, "Hey, you're just a guy. Like anything that happens, let me know, and I'll deal with it." Because she was like the responsible 18-year-old adult. I'm so grateful for her for that. And whenever a kid would like be pretend to be drowning, because they did it a lot in front of me, because they knew like, oh, I'm like the chill one of the group. I'd point out to Azra. I'd be like, "Hey, is he drowning?" And Azra would be up there like outside the pool, and she'd take a better look. She'd be like, "Oh no, he's faking it. Don't worry about it." And she needed to tell me this so often. It was fucking stupid. And even then, even after she told me, it still scared the shit out of me, dude. I was not expecting there to be that many instances of that happening. It keeps you alert. Like, you're very sleep deprived during camp. I was not sleep deprived when that was happening, dude. My anxiety was through the fucking roof. Also, another thing, dude, I'm telling you, what you expect to happen is not what's going to happen in this kind of situation. A lot of the kids, like, you expect kids to be like so, like, you expect these kids to not even have developed a theory of mind yet, right? But no, a lot of these kids are still like extremely insecure. And it's like, they're kids, bro. There's nothing to be insecure about. Like, you're literally not even in your final form yet. What are you scared of? Like, nobody's actually, I don't know how, like, even when I was that age, I knew, like, nobody really cared about looking at me. Everybody was just focused on themselves, and everybody was there to have fun. But, like, it was so weird that, like, okay, fine. Kids being shy about wearing a swimsuit in front of the opposite gender, fine, normal, whatever, right? But what's crazy is, like, kids were shy to change in the locker rooms in front of, like, their own, guys were scared. Like, I don't know about girls, right? But the guys in the locker rooms were scared to change in front of other guys. And it's like, bro, at sleepovers, bro, we were proud to change clothes in front of each other. Like, hey, bro, we're brothers. Doesn't even matter. Who cares? We were on that filthy Frank wave, bro. And you know what? Dude, even kids my age were scared and insecure. Like adults. And I realized something. I'm like, this is a very important lesson, actually, that I'm glad I learned over there. It's like, the actual state of your appearance has jack shit to do with how you perceive yourself. Like, some people, I've literally heard on multiple occasions, like, oh, you imagine yourself to look better than you actually do. And then I've heard on other occasions, different posts will go like, oh, other people perceive you as looking 3 times better than you perceive yourself to look. And I'm like, so which is it? Which is it? It's 2 contradicting things. None of it's true. In reality, none of it's true. All that stuff is complete BS. There's no correlation in the slightest. Maybe on paper there's a correlation, right? But not in practice. Not at all. Not from what I've seen. Or at least, like, the stats aren't really all that applicable in any way. First of all, let's get this straight, okay? I had the worst body in that entire camp, okay? Guys and girls. Participants and counselors. I was 6 feet tall, and I weighed about 80 pounds or so, okay? Which meant I basically looked like Slender Man. Actually, I look skinnier than Slender Man. Even still, to this day, I look a little skinnier. I'm not as like long, and my arms aren't, down to my knees. Actually, wait. No, my arms are not. His arms are like down to his ankles, bro. I'm not like that. But from like a thickness level, I'm still skinnier than Sunderman, like actually. But yeah, there was an entire moment out of the entire camp where I felt scared to be around anyone at the pool, where I felt like covering myself up or anything like that, Well, actually, there was one moment where I felt a bit But it wasn't because of like my body or anything. It was because of like, okay. So if you're watching this and you end up doing Mosaic, right? Maybe because you searched up Camp Mosaic on YouTube and this video showed up. A word of advice to all the future swim guides, okay? And you're gonna want to pass this down to the next generation of swim guides. There's going to be a group of girls sitting on the side of the pool, like in the lane, in the pool lane right next to where everyone's swimming in, and they're not going to be inside. They're going to be sitting on like with their feet in the water, right? And you may be wondering why they aren't fully in the pool like everybody else. In fact, you may even be curious enough to ask, like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Get in the pool." Don't ask. It's because of it's a natural bodily function is what they told me, along with an explanation. And it was an explanation that I couldn't really avoid because I was Quidditch goalie and I had to stay right next to them. And I didn't have the balls to tell them to stop. So yeah, that was a mistake. I mean, like, it doesn't matter now. I can talk about periods now. But when I was 16 years old, it was a different story, bro. I mean, dude, that was only a couple years after I was like, after I had like a phobia of talking to girls. I was still recovering, dude. And just to explicitly say all that shit, like, even then it's like, it's whatever. It is natural bodily function. I didn't mind. But when I said to them, like, I was like, oh, why are you guys up there? And this girl was like, why do you think, huh? And then they were like somewhat hinting at it, and I was like, oh, never mind, I'm good, I don't need to know. But then they continued on. Once I figured out, they continued on just to tease me. Like, they got a kick out of it. That's what did it. That's what made me like it wasn't their detailed explanation that made me uncomfortable. Like, it's whatever, you know, it is natural bodily function, but it's the fact that they got a kick out of it. Like, they enjoyed like making me squirm or whatever. I wasn't squirming. I'm exaggerating. It wasn't like that. But they enjoyed the prospect of like pushing me like that, you know? Like, they were literally laughing at me. And dude, they were all over 18. That's weird as fuck now that I think about it. They were all over 18. They were harassing a minor. That was educational. What was I saying? Oh, okay. Yeah, insecure. These kids are super insecure. And this goes right along with it. It's like, it's super easy to read kids, dude. Like, 13-year-old, 12-year-old kids will just act in extremes. Like, they'll never act like a reasonable, like, they'll download the personalities of like the characters on the TV shows they're watching, and they'll be like very, very exaggerated. Like, either they're extremely shy or they're extremely outgoing. There is no in the middle for like especially like 12-year-olds, you know, especially for the younger ones. Like, dude, one thing I didn't expect was actually two things I didn't expect were the very extreme like 12-year-old boys who were extremely like harsh bullies, and like the 12-year-old girls who were like extremely clingy. And I would like think like, what did their parents do wrong? Like, are their parents not involved? Are they just neglecting them? Like, are they not involved in their lives? So it's like, okay, so the bullies, right? These were the guys. Now keep in mind, when you draw a stick figure to represent a person, I wasn't too far off from that drawing. That's only a mild exaggeration, all right? And these guys, these like 12-year-old, 13-year-old dudes, they go around and try to like impress their friends and like impress the girls by like bashing me. And they did this like every opportunity they got, not just for me, for like any opportunity they could find. But I was an easy target because of how skinny I was. And they would try to be all like slick about it, where it seems like they're just like doing shit and they just like happen to stumble upon me and they just like say some nice diss like right when they see me. But it's so painfully obvious. Like, they're planning it out, and they're like taking time to think of a clever roast. Like, okay, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? Like, dude, relax. Like, what business do you have? Like, go play with a fucking football. Like, stop worrying about stupid shit like this. Like, what are you gaining from this? But I mean, like, I can't really ever just like make them stop caring, right? I can't ever like tell them like, hey, why the hell is this like a priority for you? It's a phase, right? They'll get over it, right? And what was hilarious was how obvious it was. Because it made me think to myself, like, was I this stupid when I was 12? Because I know I did shit like that. I know I was like, I would like fake a lot of shit. Like, I would pretend like I was a lot more charismatic than I actually was, right? I would try to adopt the personalities of people that I admired unconsciously, and just try to integrate that into my own personality, as difficult and as strenuous as that might be. And even though I know I did that same shit, nobody ever pointed it out to me. None of the adults pointed it out. And I thought to myself, like, when I was 12, did these adults notice all along that I was just like BSing for attention? And they didn't say anything? And dude, okay, wait, I gotta mention this, okay? With the girls, maybe I was the only one who noticed this. Because, no, I couldn't have been the only one who noticed this. I see it all the time now, and nobody says anything. And this is the problem. It's like, the fact that, like, this is a taboo subject to talk about, like, even talking about little kids in general, like, not just, like, little girls, like, even just the fact of, like, even if you say a sentence like, oh, this kid was at the park, like, that's risky to say, especially as a dude. Like, if you're a girl, you could get away with saying a lot more shit, but, like, me, like, it's risky to even just talk about these things. And that sucks. That's actually really, that's not what you want. Because what happens is, when a subject becomes taboo and nobody wants to talk about it, the malicious people who take advantage can get away with shit because nobody wants to stand up and say anything, because even just talking about it is taboo. It's like my parents would tell me, like, how in India, if somebody like gets beat up or killed or something like that, or robbed, nobody will call the police, because the police, like, they get paid if they like arrest somebody, right? So if you call the police and the guy who did a hit and run has already left the scene, they'll look at you, even if you called them, even you called them there, they'll look at you and they'll be like, oh, did you do this? And they'll arrest you just so they can get their paychecks. And it's like, that's what's going on. Like, if you report something, if you go like, hey, what the hell is going on, like, in this field where, like, kids are being exploited, you run the risk of getting in trouble just by talking about it, because it's a taboo subject, and it shouldn't be taboo. That's the problem, is that people don't talk about this stuff. And I feel like people notice this shit too, but nobody speaks about it. And, like, what I noticed at camp, and I swear to God, bro, I couldn't have been the only one who noticed. Like, first of all, I'm literally about to say this, and this is a risky thing to say. Like, I can't say this if I have way more followers, because people will, like, give me so much shit for this. It's like, this is, in my mind, from what I saw, this is undisputable. Girls 100% mature faster than guys. Like, mentally. Like, and some of the girls, okay, if you ever do Mosaic, right? I think this is just the nature of being on the swim team. Okay, it's the nature of like being a guy that's older than them, that's also just so happens to be swimming with them like every day. You could be the ugliest looking, Mr. Crocker looking, stick figure looking, dry bones looking, stick bug looking, cinnamon stick from Apple Jacks looking, squirrel from Ice Age looking motherfucker alive, bro. You could legit be a 2 out of 10. But as long as you're like 3 to 5 years older than a bunch of little girls and you're in a pool with them every day, like, just by mere exposure, some of them will just like stick to your side. And it's just like, there was nothing I could have done to elicit that or stop that. It just happened by itself. And it was so fucking obvious, dude. It was the same way. It was just like the guys. Like, they, like, kids, 13-year-old kids cannot act for shit. It makes me wonder, like, how the fuck do they get kids, like, to be actors? It must be a real struggle to find actual good child actors, right? They have to have a really solid theory of mind. They have to be really intelligent for them to actually be good actors when they're kids. Or you can just convince them that what they're in is real, like some Disney Channel type shit. But yeah, these girls, just like the guys, would try to be really, like, they would try to be all slick about it. They'd be like, oh, Afu, I didn't see you there, type shit, you know? But it was so obvious. Like, kids are open books. They can't act to save their lives. And I even remember thinking, like, in the moment, not even when camp was done, because the majority of thoughts I had about the camp that I'm speaking about is all retrospective. But in the moment, like, while I was there in the pool, I remember thinking, like, holy shit, it would be so easy to abuse my power. Like, imagine if they picked the wrong person to be swim guide. Because you never know people like that, you know? You never know, like, you can never judge someone for that sort of thing. It's never the people you expect. You can never tell that sort of thing. Malicious people are always, like, even me. I've done a lot of fucked up shit that, like, people would never expect from me. But imagine, and never in, like, this sort of situation, right? But imagine if they had picked somebody not like me who would have actually abused their power. This is what I meant when I said earlier, like, bro, for the swim team, just have all girls and have only the safest picks of girls. You're reducing the chances as much as you can, because what they did to pick their swim guides, it was literally like luck of the draw. It's like drew from a hat. They just like drew straws basically. And I even talked to Ezra about this too. I talked to Ezra like, hey, the girls are kind of like kind of clinging, you know? And she warned me this would happen too. She warned me before the camp, and then when I talked about it again with her, she said the same thing. She's like, yeah, it's gonna happen. You just have to ignore it. And it's like I knew that already. Like I wasn't that stupid. I was a pretty stupid kid, but like I wasn't too stupid. And that was what the real struggle was, actually. It was dealing with kids. Because you think, oh, I'm swim guide, it'll be a piece of cake, it'll be so easy. Like, no, dude, there's hella shit you gotta think about. And I was already out here, like, dying from being in a pool this long every day. And then there's also this, like, I'm overstimulated. I'm a 16-year-old dude, overstimulated because the female counselors, who actually were my age, were actually, like, acting really cool with me. So it was like, bro, it was hard to stay focused. But in the pool, bro, I was on a mission, bro. I was not gonna let these kids anywhere near me. I would straight up swim away. I was disrespectful. Like, and they told me, like, hey, dude, like, you're a swim guide. You can't be so mean to the kids. I was so disrespectful. Like, come up to me, they'd say what's up, and I'd swim away. And it's not even like, dude, this happened with every group. This is the problem. Like, who's raising these kids? Group 1 would come, and it would happen, and I'd be swimming away constantly from, like, the same, like, 3 to 5 girls. And they'd get out, and I get, like, a 20-minute break. We're showering. I'm in the hot showers. I'm relaxing. Me and Juju. We stay in the hot showers way longer than we're supposed to. They tell us, like, okay, you got, like, 5 minutes. Nah, we stay in there way longer. We spray cold water on the participants, you know, just to screw with them. But I get the hot shower. And then once the 20 minutes is up, and then the kids would, like, they'd see me in the hot shower, and they'd see the shower head that I'm holding, and it'd be cold water, and they'd run and get right next to me to hop in the hot shower with me. And I can't, like, push these kids out of there, especially, like, it's slippery floor. I'm not gonna, like, you know, but I'd be like, hey, no, get out. But, like, we get that 20 minutes, and then group 2 would show up, and we're right back at it, and I'd go through that entire thing again. And then again, and again. It's like, also, another thing I realized was, like, just swimming in general. Because, like, you know, you go to pools when you're a kid, and it's always, like, you never expect it to be, like, a workout, right? You never imagine, like, when you ask your friends like, hey, bro, you trying to go work out? Or you ask your friends like, hey, you trying to go to the pool? Like those are two very different things. Those imply two very, very different things. But like if you're like serious about swimming, those kind of mean like the same thing really. Because people who don't go to the pool often, they might think like, oh, swimming like this is like being a swim guide is gonna be easy, right? Like I already mentioned, like mentally it's a difficult thing, but like the swimming part itself is easy, right? No, dude. Swimming for like 6 hours a day, every fucking day, and then being in the showers and all that stuff, like being in the water and all that stuff, and constantly having to deal with the smell of Old Spice and chlorine in the air. Like, dude, by the end of the week of camp, I was so fucking sore, dude. Like I'd never been that sore. Like I'd been more sore before that, but it's like it's a different. Everything was in pain. It was so weird. Like if you want a full body workout, bro, go swim. Like I'm convinced after that whole thing, I'm convinced that swimming is by far the healthiest, like best all around workout you could do. Like if you could only do one workout for the rest of your life, you should always swim. Because when you work out, like let's say like back, right? Let's say you got back day or like pull day, you can miss spots. Like sometimes your lats will be really sore, but your traps will be like 50% worn out because traps are also heavily involved in a lot of push movements, not just pull movements. And so like it's just your lats that are just like completely torn to shreds. And sometimes your lower back will be like totally fine. Your lower back will be like nothing. And your traps will be like 50%. And maybe your biceps will be, in absolute shambles way before any of your lower back, mid back, and before any of your back is sore or fatigued rather. And you're getting all your hypertrophy from your biceps. But there's like, mind muscle connection, things like that. But actually, I think there's actually better strategies now than mind muscle connection, which is not necessarily imagining the movement, the contraction of your muscles, but rather the movement of objects, the completion of tasks rather, which helps more to build strength and endurance than it does to grow muscle. Like it helps more, I believe, with the type 2A fibers, the muscle fibers and things like that. I know low reps, high volume is like the strategy for it. But like, if you're going for strength, you go for isometrics and you go for that sort of thing. But I don't want to talk about that right now. But there's ways when you work out to like, you have to be, if you want to be efficient about working out, you want to get everything, you have to kind of be very meticulous about it. Either you follow a very well put together training program, or you do your own research, but you do it very, very thoroughly. But that with swimming, dude, that's not the case. Like if you swim a lot, there isn't a square centimeter of your body that is not fatigued, that is not experiencing hypertrophy. Like every inch of your muscle, like from the rear delt shoulder into, which is a part that I never work out, sinking in between my biceps and triceps, like an area that you don't even work out. You don't even think about working out these areas. And even like grip strength and stuff like that, because you got to cup your hands and stuff. Like all the areas that like normal resistance training, like normal weightlifting routines rather, because like resistance training can be is much wider, but like just normal weightlifting routines that like a decent personal trainer will give you, they won't reach like a lot of different spots. But like nah, dude, with swimming, every square centimeter of your body is sore. Like everything I did, I remember how it felt. And I think like Juju can attest to this. Like when I put on my backpack, I could like feel it made me acutely aware of like how the straps were like pressing into my shoulders. Like I remember, your backpack probably has like a foam part in the middle, and then it has like probably like fabric that's like stitched. And I remember feeling the stitches and the foam and like the holes in the foam like in my shoulders, like they would press into it, and I was so like, dude, what the hell is this? I never, I mean, you could feel it anyways, regardless whether you swam or not. But I was so aware of it, like it couldn't get out of my mind, like it felt painful. Like I would try to think about other things, and my mind would just go right back to the fact that like, hey, there's these like strings hanging from your backpack that are pressing into your shoulder. It was like, it's a different kind of sore, bro. Everything I did would result in something like this. Like wearing shoes literally hurt my feet. It would hurt my feet to put them on. And I remember on the very last day, I would tell people like, hey bro, can you pull this door handle for me? Or can you open this jar of peanut butter for me? Because my fingers would like burn if I did that sort of thing. It's a different kind of sore, bro, I'm telling you. It's just a different kind of workout. Maybe you wouldn't experience it if you're like more athletic, if you have more muscle mass. But like in the position I was in, how weak I was, like never working out or anything like that, for me at that level, I probably experienced a soreness that most people could probably never experience in their lives. It was a totally unique experience, and it's not something I think I could ever replicate ever again, because I'm a lot stronger now. I'm not 80 pounds and 6 feet anymore. I'm 117 pounds and 6 feet, which is still really skinny, but I'm working on it. But the reason why I think swimming is the best workout, because you can't necessarily measure it in reps. Like, because even when you're in pain, even when you're fatigued, you can still swim. Like for the most part, right? Like you think you can, you never feel like you can't swim until there's a point where you really can't swim, and then you're screwed. But if you know your limits, like you always feel fine in the pool. You always feel like if you work out and you're super sore, you can go into the pool and you feel great. What happens is like, when I got out of the pool is when I felt it. When I got out of the pool, it was like, if I wanted to lift something, right, it would feel really heavy for me. I feel really sore. But if I brought that thing with me into the pool and I lifted it, it was so easy. So it's like, I can push myself way past the normal levels of fatigue with normal resistance training that people do in the gym. And that's why I feel like if you know your limits, it's a great workout, because usually the pain of weightlifting is what makes you stop. It's what makes you go like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna go back home now. But there's no pain in the pool. And I feel like also in the pool, there's very low risk of injury. It's all, it's like the ultimate calisthenic. It's like, imagine if you're doing bicep curls, right? And if you're so fatigued you can't lift your arms anymore, you're done. But swimming is the opposite. Like, if you're sore from swimming, what that means is you can't do bicep curls when you're out of the water, but you could do it when you're in the water, because of the buoyancy. The buoyancy makes all the soreness go away, and it makes things easier. That's why you probably can't run on the wall in real life, but you could definitely run on the wall in the water. You could jump a lot higher and stuff in the water, do flips and all that, you know? And I feel like that's how you can really push yourself to your limits without putting in, like, you need a lot of willpower and a lot of motivation, not just discipline. You need a lot of motivation and discipline and willpower to be able to push yourself to your limits in the gym, because it's painful. It's deeply painful. You get hot and all that stuff. But in the water, like, bro, that's what you're meant to work out. Like, human beings as animals, I feel like that's where we're meant to be in for long periods of our lives. Like, everyone, I feel like that's the meta's gonna, like, everyone knows by now that, like, different, like, you know, kettlebells are plain and simple superior to dumbbells in, like, 60 to 70% of cases, 60 to 70% of workouts, you'd rather do them with kettlebells than dumbbells for real world application stuff. And everyone knows, like, you know, working out legs is absolutely essential. It's probably the most essential workout is working out legs for, like, a workout routine. It's the most neglected, and it should be the least neglected. Especially like glutes and stuff like that. Glutes and hamstrings are very neglected, especially for guys. Guys don't work out glutes, which they absolutely should. What's it called? If they want to not drag their feet and they want good posture, they should work out glutes. everyone knows that like full sit-ups bring very diminishing returns pretty damn quickly. So like the meta of working out has like totally changed over like the past like 15 years, right? Because even 15 years ago, like or I'd say like 20 years ago, sit-ups were like the standard, like the gold standard for ab workouts. But now it's like nobody even recommends them anymore. But I feel like pretty soon, like give it 20 years from now, swimming and swimming related exercises, like aerobic exercises and stuff like that, will be the new meta. Because unlike normal workouts, you can't be stopped by fatigue. So if you're with the right people and you're getting proper supervision and proper training, and there's a lifeguards and stuff, you aren't stopped by soreness. You can push yourself as much as you want, but you are stopped by drowning. So there is a certain point where it's not like diminishing returns. It's just you do so much volume that there's just a line you cross, and then you're screwed. But as long as you don't cross that line, and you know to not cross that line, you know where it is, which I'll admit is not the easiest thing to know. But I feel like in the future, if we develop better methods for understanding oneself and knowing one's limits, right? Especially with a lot of research going on today, I feel like swimming will be the meta of working out. Like it'll be like, if you're a bodybuilder, consider swimming before, after, whatever workouts you do, because it'll never be as efficient as the, training programs where you could really isolate muscles and things like that for bodybuilding. But even for that, you could probably benefit greatly from swimming, from developing quite a bit more flexibility and mobility, so that way you can get more range of muscle, so that way you can build more muscle mass for the future and things like that. You know, if you're playing the long game, swimming seems like the right way to go. It seems like a great thing to incorporate into your workout program. But yeah, soreness from swimming is a different kind of pain. Maybe it's just that day that I experienced that, like how people who are in weird situations have unique experiences. Like people who have very, very low tolerances experience their first time being high or being drunk as a totally different thing as people who have very high tolerances naturally. And people who have high tolerances can never actually experience those things that the people with low tolerances can experience. So it's like maybe that was just a unique like one-time thing. But actually no, being sore from working out, it's like everyone knew this other than me. Like when I was at the camp, like everybody would sort of hint, like they would say things that implied that they knew. And when I look at it in hindsight, like they definitely knew about this stuff. Because like we had multiple groups every day, and I was in every single session every single day. And like Juju was in like 60% of them, and Eliza was in the pool like 35% of the time. Sheza was in the pool like 25% of the time, maybe 20%. And like Uzra was in the pool like 5% of the time. But like that was fine for her because like she was like the lifeguard basically. And she was just, her main job was like telling us what to do, right? From above, from outside the water. So it's cool. But like I was, compared to everybody else, I was in 100% of the time. I was always the first to get in and the last to leave because I enjoyed it. And everybody else, like, I fucking tore my body to shreds, and everybody else was really, like, careful about that. And this dude, Juju, bro, he was built. Like, he was swole as hell. And even at the end of the camp, he was telling other people that he was sore after his, like, measly 60% pool time. But, dude, this dude had no fucking idea what I was going through. I'm glad I got to learn that. I'm glad that that's over. Because I couldn't do shit for like the next few days. Like I got invited to sleepovers and I'm like, nah, dude, I can't. I literally cannot. Now that I know, don't swim too hard for too long. Now that I know, oh yeah, I should be aware of my limits. I should try to look for the patterns as to, you know, myself slowing down, running out of breath, feeling exhaustion, that sort of thing. Now that I know that, I'm glad. I feel like I'll be safer in the future because of it. it's just, it's a weird kind of sore. If you haven't tried it before, I feel like I recommend going to the pool with people, with lifeguards and stuff like that, and really really pushing yourself in water that you could stand in, obviously. But like, the kind of soreness that you get on like really really tough leg days, where you actually feel like you can't move your legs anymore, it's like that kind of soreness. But instead of just concentrated in your legs and your calves, it goes across your whole body. And not across, it goes deep. Like you feel it in the level of your bones. Like you can do a deep tissue massage and still feel like you can feel your, well, I can feel my bones because I'm skinny enough to like feel the bones in my arms and stuff like that. But I would feel it there. I'd feel the soreness there. It's I never experienced anything like that before, and I don't think I'll ever experience anything like it since. But yeah, I also don't think it helped that I got like 3 hours of sleep every night, and I was surviving off of like peanut butter, Skittles, and Chips Ahoy. Another thing I learned, a pretty important thing I would say, is you actually want a cold pool. This is something that a lot of people don't know. Like I don't know anyone that I've ever talked to who actually knew this. Like, we would talk to the people at Emory and stuff like that, and like, as much as these people might complain, like the participants and stuff might complain, like, oh, why can't they heat up the pool? Bro, trust me, every like camp staff, everyone in camps, tries, like they try to get the heated pool. Like they try to convince the colleges or campuses or wherever they're at. They try to convince them. Like they plead, they like beg and plead, like, hey, can we heat up the pool? It's actually a struggle to do that. Like secretly behind the scenes, you don't see it. You don't see it if you're a participant. But every camp staff actually does their best to give people hot water. But trust me, like, the camp staff can't explain it one by one to each individual person. Just listen to me when I tell you this. You don't want that. You don't want hot water, like warm pools, like room temperature pool. You don't want, or not room temperature, they are room temperature, but you don't want pools that even come close to your body heat level. Because like, it's crazy that nobody I talk to even knows this. Like I see adults, grown adults, who like step in cold water, like, oh, let me see, and they dip their toes in there, like, oh, it's too cold, I can't go in. But it's like, no, you want it to be cold. Hot water is for staying still. Hot water is for the like cleansing, quote unquote. It's for like the like the pseudo womb type feeling, right? The nostalgic subconscious, like unconscious nostalgia, or like a eutrophic bath, like hot spring onsen type of shit. Maybe sensory deprivation does the same thing as well. I don't know. I've never done sensory deprivation, but I can't imagine that they put you in cold water for that, especially when you're not moving at all. But it's for the eutrophic feeling. But the problem with heated pool, like that's what hot tubs are. You don't move around. You don't go swimming in hot tubs. You don't go splashing water. But the problem with heated pools is if you're moving around, you know, like swimming and stuff, which you're supposed to be doing, you'll generate so much body heat that if the pool is heated, you run the risk of just like passing out. And it's like, they can't make the pool hot just because some people are going to be like somewhat inactive in the pool, when there's a chance that at least a couple people, at least there's always going to be at least like one person who's like very active in the pool, always moving around. And they run the risk of just like drowning if the pool is too hot, like of the feeling of exhaustion. Not drowning, but like, not at these camps. I'm not going to drown at these camps, but like, here's my wisdom to all these people who, from personal experience, here's my wisdom, okay? Step into a cold pool, right? And if it's like too cold, oh, I don't want to go in, that's fine. Step into it. Move around as you're going into it. And then just go all the way in. Don't even like understand that it's cold. Jump in, go all the way in, get your head in, your hair, like all of it, like fully, like deep dive into it, basically. And then once you're in the water and it's feeling cold and you're shivering and you're like, it's too cold, it's too cold, it's too cold, and you feel like getting out, do like a flip under the water, you know? Swim around, like move your body, like run on the walls and do all that stuff. Do like shadow boxing and all that, you know? Everything for like 120 seconds at least, right? 120 to like 200 seconds, I'd say. Just like go crazy under the water. Or you don't, your whole body doesn't need to be under the water, like your head and everything, but just like neck deep in the water and just like move around hella. Don't let a single part of your body stay still. And after like 2 to 3 minutes, you won't feel cold anymore. And 2 or 3 minutes actually takes quite a while, because it's like, that'll be the longest 3 minutes of your life when you're actually doing all that. Because it's a lot of moving, it's a lot of using your muscles. And if you do that, you might actually feel sore afterwards, because it's a different kind of sore that you'll feel from the pool versus from resistance training. But when you do that, from my personal experience, take on a single grain of salt, because I'm no scientist, but if you do that, you won't feel cold anymore. And what's crazy is, even if you move to a new area with cold water, and you don't even have to be so active after that, you could like kind of chill after that. And even if you move to a new part of the pool, like 20 feet away, with like brand new fresh water that you have not heated up with your own body heat, you haven't touched it, your body heat and your breathing will still keep your internals warm somehow. And it'll like kind of register to your body like, hey, the rest of your skin is cold, but your skin is waterproof. It doesn't matter. The water's not going to get in, so who cares? And it'll kind of like ramp up your... I don't know what it does. I don't know how that works. It worked for me. Maybe it's placebo. I don't know, but placebos have been shown to work. Even when people know they're placebos, they're still been shown to work. But if they heated Olympic pools, like if they accidentally turned on the heat, because they can do that. But if some careless dude just like turns on the heat for an Olympic swimming thing, the swimmers would just like drown. Like they'd get exhausted, because swimming makes you hot in more ways than one. If you're moving around, that is. Like you can do nothing in a pool, you can be lazy, which you shouldn't be, and you won't get hot. But if you're doing what you should be in a pool, you'll feel it. You'll feel your body temperature, like understand the situation, understand that you're in water, and act accordingly. And it's like, it blows my mind. It makes me feel sad, because like people who are like, they see everybody else in the pool having fun, and they want to go in to join them, but they don't want to go in because it's too cold. But they're like, man, I really want to hang out with everyone. It's like, bro, you don't have to miss out on it. Go in, move around a lot. Like don't worry about hanging out for like the first like 2 or 3 minutes. Just move around like hella, and make like make bubbles around yourself, basically. Like move around so much that you're surrounded by bubbles. And after like 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be fine. And you'll be excited. You'll actually you'll be a bit more hyper, is from what I found. Like again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Maybe consult some like Wim Hof podcast, look at some YouTube videos, whatever. Talk to some, or not talk, but like watch some videos on what some doctors have to say about this sort of thing, right? I'm pretty sure. I know Joe Rogan's probably made videos on probably talk about this sort of thing on multiple occasions, considering how much fitness related talk he's had, and I believe he's had people talk about Wim Hof stuff. If you want to look it up, you search WIM space HOF. It's this dude who like runs marathons in like Antarctica, so I'm pretty sure he'll have a solid answer for you. I never really looked into any of this stuff. I've seen clips here and there, like motivational clips, but my guess would be like maybe moving around that much in the water. Your body knows when it's in the water. Your body's smart enough to know that, and maybe it'll probably maybe it triggers some sort of like nervous system response that like ramps up your systems. Maybe it like ramps up your breathing, oxygen, your digestion, partitioning. I mean, maybe that's why you can't go into a pool right after you eat. Maybe that's part of the reason, not just buoyancy, because the buoyancy of a pool can't be solely responsible for the feeling of throwing up you get, right? Because it's not like your neck is in the pool most of the time for most people, right? So it's like that can't be the only reason, especially when your digestive system is working hard at funneling all that food down through your digestive tract. So it's like even that there's got to be some kind of system in place where if you're in the water, because when you're in the water and you're in a hot tub, you don't feel like throwing up all that much. Nowhere near as much as you did if you were moving around hella. But then again, maybe that's just a reaction the same way you'd get if you ate a lot and you ran on the treadmill, you know? You're just pushing your heart rate up, basically. But maybe I get the feeling that, like, it's, oh, dude, that's probably also why, that probably also might contribute to the fact that, like, you know how when you get out of the pool, you're, like, absolutely starving every time, and, like, it makes food taste so much better? Like, hard workouts can make you hungry for sure, but eating after you get out of the pool, eating like a sandwich and Doritos and like Capri Sun and all that stuff, like that sort of thing, after you get out of the pool after like hours of swimming with the homies at some like birthday party, whatever, like that makes food hit different, dude. Food tastes unreal after that. It's like, it's trippy actually. Like you're actually kind of like tripping in a way. I feel like you know, when you're high and your serotonin receptors are firing off because of THC binding with them, I feel like in that same way there's probably a lot of serotonin going on when you're in that social interaction in a pool, and your body understands that it's in a pool, that allows you to also get the same sort of effect with food. And I can imagine that maybe that's what it's like to taste food when you're high. Is the same. Then damn, that makes being high really like a really attractive thing, because food's got to taste amazing all the time. Being able to control that effortlessly, just smoking something, makes me want to try it out, you know. But yeah, maybe all these things seem to be somewhat connected in my head, but like I said, I'm no scientist. I do know some things about this, like these systems, like digestion in particular, disproportionately to what you might think relative to your other systems, digestion generates huge amounts of body heat. And I feel like that's the kind of body heat like that would let you feel warm, and that would keep the rest of your systems safe. That would signal to your brain like, hey, you might feel cold, but you're safe, so relax on sending the pain signals, you know? I feel like that's the kind of thing that would keep your body actually safe in the water, in very cold water, that is. But I'm stupid, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Everything I'm saying is literally just a shot in the dark. I'm just brainstorming right now. But I learned quite a lot when I was there about like the water and pools and stuff like that, and how these things sort of work. I learned the most about kids though, about like the way they act. The kids were cool for the most part. I'm good with kids. I'm better than anyone else I know, at least. You know, I may not be great with kids, but nobody I know is better than me. It's so weird, because like it was against the rules to like get close to participants and become friends, like become close personal friends with participants for like obvious reasons, right? Or to, you couldn't give them rides and stuff like that. You know, they had specific rules about this stuff. But I was the only one who had friends who, like, some people had like younger siblings. I had homies who are participants, like on Skype and on Steam. Like we play games together. Like we play Brawlhalla together. Like a couple of the kids were participants. Like we would ditch school together and we'd go to Aussie Plaza, or like the we'd like ditch Kane and go to QT and stuff like that. I've had sleepovers with two of the participants that were there. But like we were only the two participants, we were only 2 years apart, so it wasn't like a crazy big deal. But oh, and I remember like during camp I would literally be like talking to them, like on Skype. I'd be messaging them like, hey, I'm at sleepovers and stuff. with these counselors, like your group counselor is with me at the sleepover, and I told them about the streak I went on of being awake, which is crazy. I stayed awake for 65 straight hours during training. It's a personal record for me that still stands to this day. I've never beaten 65 hours. I don't think I ever will either. And you know where I fell asleep? Actually, 65 hours, what is that? That's like a little less than 24, 48, 72. Yeah, no, it's a little less than, it's 7 hours less than 3 days. So I slept basically 3 days. And I fell asleep legit sitting upright in a car while we were blasting Travis Scott, Days Before Rodeo. We were blasting that song Zombies. And that's when I fell asleep. Like, it's super hype, and like, bro, if you're tired enough, you'll fall asleep anywhere. That's why I don't think I can break the record anymore. Not because of like any health reasons, which is probably the real reason why I shouldn't try to break the record, but I just don't think I could break it anymore. And that's actually like a common theme in Mosaic that you'll find, which is like every camp has at least one person who will like fall asleep behind the wheel. Like every camp that happens, because I was actually going for 75 hours of being awake. That was my goal. I wanted to stay awake for 75 hours. So like, I like put my seat up all the way. I made sure to blast like hot air, because you know cold air makes me fall asleep. And I made sure to only put on like the hardest songs, like Hard in the Paint, French Montana Ocho Cinco, ASAP Ferg Work, Future Karate Chop, Keith Ape Ichima, Chief Keef Love Sosa, and Travis Scott Zombies. That was the one I was playing, and like a few others, like just consecutively, like all of the hardest songs, like songs that would make you like go crazy in the gym. Like these are all songs that you put in a workout playlist. Like if you're really with the shit, you know, not these like up tempo like bullshit songs they put in the like playlist, like for like the kind of stuff that these people put in these playlists. I imagine, like, I look at that and I imagine some like CrossFit like cardio dude who's like fat and like unhealthy, and he's like, I'm gonna hop on this cycling machine, and he's got like headband, the giant headband, and like wristbands and all that stuff for like sweat. It's like totally unnecessary for what they're doing, and it's like, that's what I imagine when I look at all these workout playlists. But if you want a real like legit workout playlist that'll make you go hard for actual resistance training, to really push yourself, these are the kind of songs you put in there. Like just trap songs that are actually hard, that make you stay awake, that make you like get hype when you're about to fall asleep. Those are the best songs in my opinion for that sort of thing. I should make a workout playlist. One day I'll make one and I'll put it in the description of this video, and I'll share it with you guys. So the whole theme with Mosaic is magic, all right? And I remember I went to Camp Mosaic as a participant. I still remember like nothing was labeled, and everything had like drawn magic labels, right? And they would reiterate it so much. It was like all this like stuff that they did with markers. They would constantly say over and over and over again, like everything is magic, right? Like the theme song of Mosaic when I was a participant was like the song. It's like it's so magical, you and me, la di da, like that song. And I started to actually have doubts at a certain point. Like I was like 99% sure that the magic juice they gave us was just Kool-Aid because it tasted like Kool-Aid, but I was not 100% sure. And I'm pretty sure the other kids felt the same way too, if they had any imagination, that is. And this is when I was a participant, is what I'm saying. So naturally, when I was a guide, I told everyone, all the participants, the formula for magic juice. I forgot exactly what it was. It's like they mix it in a giant barrel. They use like a boat oar or paddle or something to mix it, which I stole from there, and I still have it. They take like a commercial sized like Gatorade powder and like Kool-Aid powder and stuff, and they have like special ratios of like certain flavors. I think they dump some sugar in there too as well. I didn't even know you could buy them like that. But I mean, hey, I guess you can. I mean, it makes sense now that I think about it. Like, how else would all these like summer camps and like sports teams? You go to like soccer camp or whatever. How else would all of them have like so much Gatorade? They're not out here like pouring, just buying a bunch of bottles and just pouring it. How would these like football teams take these like giant containers of Gatorade and like pour it on their coaches and stuff? You know, it makes sense why they would how they would have the commercial sized Gatorade like powder. You know. But yeah, I forgot the ratios exactly of what it was. It was like a mix between a few different things. But I watched them do it. I helped out with it a bit. I helped mix the boat ore. And then like during lunch, I like stood up and made an announcement and just like told everyone. And the LPT dude, they got so mad at me for that shit. And rightfully so. Like, I didn't take the camp all that seriously, and I knew the kids were gonna tell other kids, which they did. They did. Like, people came up to me in Kane later on and they were like, hey, thanks for telling us about the magic juice and what it was and all that stuff. Thanks for telling us that the magic spray was just Old Spice. And I even kept the Old Spice too, but I threw it away after like a week because I was like, damn, this is going to get bad. It was just, I was like, damn, I might keep this because of memories, because it still had the Old Spice, it still had the magic spray thing wrapped around it, like the paper. So yeah. And I literally, during camp, I just ripped the paper off and just showed them what it was. And you could tell because there was still orange and blue on it. You could still see, like, the Old Spice colors thing. So it's like, I mean, they're kids. It's not like they wouldn't know, but yeah, I really, I was a musty quad butt chopper. I took that camp into my own hands. I remember, there was one time where I would like go like they people would see me go to the storage room to get snacks, and one time they told the LPTs about it. Like, the other counselors would like snitch. They'd be like, oh, he's going to take his break now, watch. And then they caught me taking snacks from the storage room, and I told them like, yeah, I told the kids that if they did a swimming race, I told like 3 of the boys who were like the fastest swimmers, like, if they do a race, the winner gets fruit gummies. And so they raced. And you're not allowed to do any stuff like, you're not allowed to take the camp in your own hands like this, especially as a guide. You can't do that kind of thing. You can't, it is, despite all the stuff I'm saying right now, like the stuff that I did, you got to understand that, like, I'm, like, people tell me in person, like, I act like Balin Levine, I act like Gideon, I act like there's no consequences to the things that I do, you know? I act like a person who would just go up to somebody and say some shit that would get me punched or get me arrested. And people tell me that even without me recording anything. You gotta understand that about me, okay? So even though I'm wording it all like I'm making the camp seem like it's a certain way, it is a very strict camp. Like, and that's actually the reason why I'm telling this story. It's because my experience was such an anomaly. It usually is super strict. So even though the stuff may sound normal, you're really not allowed to do any of this shit. Like, they chewed me out actually when I got to the room. Chewed me out like those gummy snacks got chewed out by those kids. But because I got it to them one way or another, bro. I'm a man of my word. I got in trouble for going to the snack room first of all, and then I got in trouble for giving them the snacks later on when I wasn't supposed to give them. And then they came up to me later, like the next day, and they're like, hey, you can't even make kids race in the pool because the guides are not allowed to determine activities. The guides are just there just to help out the counselors and do what they say, basically. The counselors determine the activities, so I wasn't even allowed to tell them to race. But I wanted to make them have fun because the counselors were not going to make them have fun, and they didn't. So I did. I took it in my own hands. I told them I'd give them gummy snacks, and I was a man of my word. And that's not something I had when I was a participant. I wanted to give them that experience. When I was a participant, it was a lot more strict. And if I had a cool counselor like that who did something like that for me, and I got gummy snacks when I wasn't supposed to, I would have remembered it. I would have remembered that. I would be really appreciative of that person. I'd really admire them. And I saw that, and I'm like, I want to be that person. I want to be that person for those kids that I never got to experience. So, yeah, and they did remember me. I had people in contact with me even like 2 years later, like, hey, remember you showed us what you ripped off the paper off the magic spray and you showed us it was just Old Spice or whatever. Yeah, it was. They remembered. They remembered. I hardly remembered anything from camp. I only remember a few very memorable moments, but they remembered. And it was actually really cool. Maybe I shouldn't have done the Old Spice one because like the magic spray, it was really cool. I remember it smelling better when I thought it was magic spray. Like when I was convinced, oh, this actually is magic spray. When I was like 11 or whatever, because there's like different Camp Mosaic. Like there's a lot of different. You can go at many different ages. You can probably go when you're like 8, but like, I remember at first I thought like this is not magic spray, but once I thought it was magic spray, it smelled way better. And as we would leave the locker rooms, they would spray us down with it. And we had to do the same thing when I was the guide. I was actually the person who was in charge of it. Like I would keep it in my locker and I would spray all the kids down every time they left. And there was a second bottle just in case we ran out, but we never needed to use it because I wasn't going crazy with it, you know? What else? Oh, there was this day where we had a debrief at the pool. We usually have our debriefs in that room that I showed earlier, but one day we had a debrief at the pool. So all the counselors and guides were like, we all went to the deep end, the part where we're not allowed to take the participants. We went to like the 16 feet deep part of the pool. And when we all went back to like the showers, we all had like a fucking mosh pit, dude. Like we fucking took the shower heads off and like started spraying them around and shit. Like the littest mosh pits are actually in the showers when you think about it. Same thing happened at Illuma, which I'll talk about next. But I swear, dude, the best mosh pits to ever happen in showers. And like the best moments of all, like from camp, were those like late night, those like at random people's houses, where everything is like gut bustingly hilarious. Everything is like either super funny or super personal, like deep conversation, where people would just say stuff that I shouldn't even talk about, you know? And it's like, those were the actual, like the funniest moment of the entire training was that moment where they forgot to mention Sheza and Eliza. But the funniest moment of camp was probably when it was like the morning time and we were out at like Sweet Hut or Moogles or some place like that. And we're walking and we look back at this dude's car, and he has like a giant dent on the side of his car across the whole thing, across the passenger side. And it had been there this whole time. It had been there for like days. And we thought he knew by now. And he looks at it from a distance and he goes like, what the fuck? Since when was that dent on my car? This dude didn't even notice that. And it was like, he said it, the way he said it was like, the way he looked back and just said that with like the most like concerned voice imaginable. It was so funny, bro. We all started dying laughing. I can't do these moments justice when I'm just saying them. Like you have to be there, you know? Actually, that wasn't the funniest moment was oh, this one I really can't do justice. I'm not even gonna bother. Like it was when we were we saw those like 50 or so like a smiley wristband gut pataga things at like Azam's house at like 2 a.m. and it was confusing to see them all there. And I don't want to like go into detail as to like what like the joke even was, because it's like it'll take way too much context about Ismailis and stuff like that for you guys to even realize why it's so funny. But dude, we were laughing so hard on that. We probably woke people up with how much we were laughing on that one. What else? I should write bullet points. I'll write bullet points when I get to the Illuma one. But I'm in the mindset right now of when I was in camp. So I don't think I'll need bullet points. It was like I can remember. I can put myself in the. I'm like firing off all the neurons around that area. So, actually, it was. There was this really interesting thing that happened, which was I don't know if this ever happened before with Mosaic, or since, but I left like such a huge impression on the camp and on the like the participants, and I'm just good with kids. Like, there's no other way to describe it. That like what happens is like usually at the end of camp, everyone will bring gifts for like the group counselors that they're a part of. Like the participants of group one will bring gifts for the counselors of group one, and they'll also bring gifts for like other people in the group. You know. And it's very rare for someone to bring gifts, like the participants I'm speaking about. It's very rare for one of them to bring something for somebody outside of their own group. And now keep in mind, I was like one of the elective guides. And because I was on the bottom floor, the swim team saw the participants the least out of everyone else. So chances that I was going to get any gifts were really low. But by the end of it, in my backpack, I had like a stack of sticky notes of Hong Kongs, M&M packets, gummy bears, like 4 jars of peanut butter that I stole, which that doesn't really count because I took them. Pretty much everything else was a gift other than that. Like king size Reese's, king size Kit Kat, Dum Dum lollipops, so many gifts, bro. There's so much shit. Like I got like Almond Joy, I got a couple of gift cards. I got a pop socket from one of the counselors, which was not from the participants. Like a whole pack of like different kinds of packs of Skittles, each with like different flavors. Participants would literally like their thought process would literally be like, I'm gonna bring candy for everyone in my group counselor, and a foo, and that's like what they were like. That's what they did basically. Not even any of the other people on the swim team got any of the stuff that I got. Not the logistics people, not the soccer people, none of them. Not even the group guides who were with the groups the majority of the time. Just me. And I do mean to brag. This is me bragging. I had more gifts than like any other human being in that room. I had more gifts than all of them. Even the counselors who were actually supposed to get gifts, I had more gifts than them. And I wasn't even a counselor. I was a guide. This is never supposed to happen. But really, I wasn't even a guide either. I was for the participants, bro. I was a participant. I was a participant with the privileges of a counselor. There was no guide in anything I had going on. Bro, by the end of it, on the last day, where the counselors and the participants were like signing each other's t-shirts, like they gave us Mosaic shirts, and they told everyone, okay, sign each other's Mosaic shirts. But that's not the ones that like they were wearing. Like sometimes they put them on and they told people to sign it, but they gave us these shirts as like extras. But the kids, the participants, instead of signing the Mosaic shirt, they started signing the shirt that I was actually wearing. Like they were like running at me and like trying to like, with their Sharpies, trying to like put marks on my actual shirt. And like, dude, my shirt by the beginning of the day was empty. It was like a cream color, like off-white kind of whatever. But like, by the end of these kids chasing me around with Sharpies, and I enjoy that. Like I enjoy, because they know I'm not like a little like, I can handle that sort of thing, you know? I like the games. I like to play games. I'm not going to take everything so seriously. I'm not going to go, no, my shirts. It's too risky to do that to other counselors who might take it seriously. They probably get yelled at. But the participants knew, like, I was cool with it. But bro, by the end of it, there were so many Sharpie marks on my shirt that it started to look like the actual design. It was like cookies and cream colored. When it was, in the beginning, it was just like an off-white style type of shirt. Not like an off-white style, but off-white color. And I got in trouble with that too. I was just getting in trouble left and right. It was like, at one point I let one of the participants, one of the older ones, who was like 13, 14 or something like that. and I let him write the word fuck on my shirt. And it's like, first of all, none of us are allowed to cuss at this camp, not the participants, guides, or counselors. So, but he wasn't technically saying it. Dude, I was just a participant. I don't know why they let me do all this stuff. I don't know why they gave me a shirt for the participants to sign and all that. Like, I was literally basically just a participant, the way I was behaving. Like, fuck it, bro. Let them do whatever they want. Give some freedom to the kids to let them have some fun, you know? So like, after him, he sort of inspired other people. I let the other participants also write cuss words on my shirt. And like, it wasn't just the LPT that was mad. Even the counselors were fed up. Because, like, they had to deal with that shit, too. It was like, because, like, I don't wear that shirt. There's cuss words all over it. I'm not going to go around. It's indecent. It's like, you know, in public, kids will see it and all that, you know? Like, little kids, not, like, teenagers. But, it would bother these participants, it would bother these counselors because a kid would write something on my shirt and then he'd be like, oh, this is totally acceptable. And then he'd go write something on their shirt. And that would screw up their ability to go out in public with, like, they would have to basically scratch it out, and at that point it would be like a tainted shirt. So I get where they're coming from, because they wanted their shirts to only contain pure signatures or nice messages or whatever, right? Like, legit, 5 minutes after this dude wrote fuck on my shirt, like 3 other counselors came up to me, like group counselors, like legit within 5 minutes, and they're like, Afu, did you let him write a cuss word on your shirt? And I'd go, yeah, he was pretty happy about it. And they'd go like, yeah, no, he's ecstatic, yes, 100%. But now, without me noticing, I look at the back of my t-shirt and there's 15 cuss words on there. And that, like, being me, I was like cracking up, you know, because, like, I was a participant. And that was hilarious. And it still is hilarious. But yeah, oh dude, wait, I have pictures. I don't know if I have pictures of the shirt, but check this out. Like, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Look at this. Hong Kong to... Oh, wait. To Afubai for breaking out of his shell, bro. I hate this phrase now. I hear it so much. It's like, it's Smiley's, like, favorite phrase. Just Hong Kong to Afraz. Hong Kong to Afubai for the cool new Mosaic song you made. I don't know who that is. I can't read that. But I do recall making a few Mosaic songs. Which, like, the songs are like the whole... It's like, that's like the whole appeal of Mosaic. That's like the tradition. And I did make a few. I changed the meta, bro. Hong Kong to... Yeah, I did know nobody's name. Oh, there's 2 in there. Ah, whatever. Damn, I don't... What the hell does it say on the other one? I don't know if I have a... I don't think I have a picture of that one. Damn it. What's this? Probably don't remember, but I did know you when you were younger. Yeah, I did remember. Oh, no, I didn't. Wait, this is... It's been great to see you growing up. Anusha? Or... That's Anusha, right? Yeah, Anusha. That's weird. I don't know if that's the same Anusha, but... What's this? Oh, they got crumpled up. No, this was they were supposed to be crumpled into like a little ball. But Hong Kong to Afraz for being funny, smart. He is the full package. Wait. I see a picture. It says, okay, look. Hong Kong to your loving, genuine personality, head over heels for, obsessed counselor. Yeah, these are trolls, bro. There were so many of them. Can't wait to swim with you. This is during camp, I guess. Dude, look at this. Look at that. Hold up, I'll play that again. Look at this. Yeah, ridiculous. I was breaking records, man. What else? Oh, look at this. There's that thing I was telling you about. But yeah, that's basically how it was on the last day. I really resonated with the participants, bro. I was a participant. Let's not like screw around here though. Let's not kid ourselves. They never should have let me in that camp to begin with if they were going for what they were going for. Like, I enjoyed myself in that camp, but it wasn't over. And they just didn't know like the kind of person that I was. So, like, they didn't know the kind of behavior that I could inspire. Because I don't do these things, but I inspire this kind of behavior for sure, and I'll take responsibility for that. But the day after camp ended, Sami came to pick me up, or maybe it was Juju or something. No, it wasn't the day after. It was like a couple of days after. At this point, I had already left the group chat, because I'm not interested in talking with people that I'm not playing the same games as. If we're done playing the same games, if we're done seeing each other on a regular basis, if we're done like being in very close proximity to each other, I don't feel the need to talk to you anymore. Very, very sparsely. I don't like consider you close unless we're like literally physically in close proximity. And all these people, listen, I'm just ahead of the curve. All these people are like, no, you can't do that. We're still friends and all stuff. And they'll say it differently. Watch, a year will go by and all these group chats die. You go into that Mosaic group chat now, nobody's talked in years. You go into the Illuma group chat now, nobody's talked in years. Well, yeah, no, years. It's been since 2017. And last time anybody talked in there was like 2019 or something like that. Like, they're just slow, is all they are. They're just behind the curve. They just don't realize, oh yeah, you do need close physical proximity to someone. I'll literally put a link to the SOC that I did in the description where I talked about this, where it's like, technology makes people think that they can be close if they're far away. That's the biggest lie technology has ever told. But yeah, watch that video to know what I'm talking about before continuing. But I already left the group chat, and these guys came to pick me up, and we decided, like, screw it. These guys wanted to, like, hang out a bit one last time before my school started. No, my school had already started. I had a day where before school started, it's like Anam's party, whatever. I didn't show up to that. I didn't feel like it. I was kind of tired, and like I had shit to do. Bro, like, keep in mind this whole time, like, I have a life outside of being in a smiley. So I'm like, no, I'm not interested in participating any further. My work here is done. You know, I came in with a purpose. My work here is done. So then I didn't show up to that, and then the guys who came to pick me up, these were the guys who were a lot cooler with me. It wasn't just like everybody showing up for like one final get together with all the participants and counselors. It was like this was just like only a handful of people. It was primarily the people who I would get rides with. I would stay at their houses. We'd show up late to training every time. Like, this was that crew. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? Whatever. I'll hang out with them, you know? Because a couple of these people I was hanging out with before Mosaic, and a couple of them I still hung out with after Mosaic. So this is not like, this is still people I'm close proximity with. So I was cool with it. And we leave and we go like, screw it. Let's roast everyone in the group chat and leave. And this kind of, when I think about it now, this kind of left everyone else in Mosaic with the wrong impression. But like, I think it's kind of cool. Like, I had a dream about this a few nights ago, where it's like just the feeling of what it's like of like sending people off on their journey when you know more than them. Where it's like you know things that they don't know, and they're gonna learn things along the way. And it's like to see that. I don't know, I feel like some like Gandalf type, like, it's interesting to, it's just nice to see when somebody else has a misconception that you could very easily fix and clear up, but you go like, you know what, I'm gonna leave it because it's not causing any harm. It's like, I want to see what perspective comes out of this. And it's like a science experiment, because like this is always the case. Everybody has misconceptions about everything. Miscommunication is communication. You'll never be able to fully translate everything that happens in your mind to somebody else, like 100% data. It's never going to happen. You just do your best. And the data transfer is very low speed and very inaccurate as it is right now. And I think that's good. I think what Elon Musk is trying to do with Neuralink, trying to connect people with very high data, very high efficiency communication, I think that's wrong, like morally. I think that strips away what makes us human. And anybody who's watched Evangelion knows what I'm talking about. It's miscommunication that makes us who we are. And when you get rid of that, we're nothing but robots. So I'm looking at the situation and I'm like, right now in hindsight, I'm like, I could fix this right now, or I could leave it. And I just like to observe it. Like, I know the truth. And it's not even that like, oh, I feel like I know more than everybody else. But it's just like, knowing that we're all foolish and we all have these misconceptions. And you know what? I probably have misconceptions about what they're thinking about and what happened with them. But like, it's okay that we don't feel the need to constantly correct each other all the time. It's not like there's going to be any consequences of it. And if there is, those consequences are supposed to happen. That's life. And besides, the consequences of this sort of thing are very, very small. They'll never see me again. And they haven't. It's been since 2016. Right now it's 2022. They have not seen me again since Mosaic. Like, any of them. Except for, like, people I knew beforehand. So, I'm in the car, and we ride out, and we go to Chipotle. And we start roasting them. Like, me and the dude in the passenger seat, we start roasting everybody in the group chat, one by one. And we use, like, the honk. We're like, oh, honk honk to this dude for doing this dumbass shit. Honk honk to this girl for embarrassing herself here. I start going off, dude. And we park, and I hear someone outside the car go like, yo, Afu's flaming on everyone in the group chat. And then I look out to my left, and I see people there, and they go like, hey, yo, he's right here. And they all start cracking up, and we get out, we're at Chipotle, we get food, and I'm like, I have my phone, and I'm going through, like, it's pretty lighthearted at first, you know? But, like, people take an opportunity, like, nothing interesting happens anymore. Even when you say something lighthearted, everyone's like, oh, crazy. And there was, like, 10 people there, so it was a nice, like, it was hype, but it was also very intimate. It was a very intimate environment. It was, like, Sumi, Rhea Merchant, Juju, the other Junaid, Cheyenne. I can't remember. There was a couple more people, but those are like, actually, when I think about it, that was actually the original crew who figured out that Ariba was the rat. This was the crew who took me to Chipotle, who picked me up and took me. And like, a thing you gotta know about me is like, I don't do half measures, alright? I don't play that shit. I already know I'm gonna leave the group chat. I had left to rejoin, because that's how, the way that group chats work is like, if you leave the group chat, you can rejoin yourself at any moment if you voluntarily leave. But if somebody kicks you out, you can't rejoin. But other people in the group chat can add you back in, and then you can leave and you can rejoin again. So it's a very sneaky strategy. It's like, oh, you got kicked out? Don't worry, everyone's asleep right now. I'll add you back in. They add them, and then that person who got added back in, they leave themselves. That way, whenever they decide, they can join again. It's totally. I think GroupMe is aware of the strategy. They just don't do anything about it because of the drama that ensues because of it. And it's like, this is essential drama, bro. This is cool. I'm glad that GroupMe is like, they have these features, and I'm pretty positive they're aware that this kind of stuff happens. But yeah, if I'm operating on the realm of stepping on people's toes, I might as well go all out and stomp on their feet, you know? I don't do half measures. So we all start getting involved. And I remember Uzra even, and like the other like goody goodies were like kicking me out repeatedly. But then the other people at Chipotle, and even a couple other people who weren't there, they were like tag teaming me back into the group. And it's actually really funny if you know how GroupMe works, if you've ever used GroupMe. Because this is kind of, like the way we're using it, this is supposed to be a wholesome feature, and we're like really exploiting it. I think GroupMe's features actually backfired in this one particular case, because I don't think they meant for it to be used like this. Because this is how you harass a group chat. And it's like, you could probably get like 20 of your friends in there, and for them to all very quickly tag team each other back, and as long as you have strength in numbers, you could annihilate a group chat. That's like a totally wholesome thing, and you could just tear it to shreds. I'm pretty sure GroupMe had like a surge in traffic that day, dude. So, they all go like, everybody with me at Chipotle is like, oh, like, let me say stuff. And the thing is, like, they're not like me. They don't want to seemingly burn bridges and say some shit on their own account. But like, for me, I'll say shit, but I don't consider it burning bridges. Like, I'm not the kind of person, like, words are words. To me, words mean very little. Actions mean everything. That's why I'm so against censorship, because it's like, bro, what if there are people that are okay with it? What if there are people that are okay with having a dislike button on their videos? Like, can I opt into it? What if, like, Minecraft recently did a thing where they instituted on Java Edition, like a couple days ago, they instituted a way for you could report people's chats, like speech and stuff like that, and like a human moderated team will terminate their account, whatever. It's like, bro, I paid for the game, and for me, it's like, I want to go into these anarchy servers, and I don't get, like, I want people to experience that sort of thing. I like that sort of environment. Censorship is like telling a man he can't have a steak because a baby can't chew it. Well, yeah, they can't chew it, but I'm the man in the situation. Let me eat my steak. So, and I like to give other people the benefit of the doubt, and I like to consider them smart enough people and strong enough people, mentally strong enough people, to realize that words actually do mean very little in the grand scheme of things. So words should never be enough to burn bridges. And to me, none of these bridges are ever burned with words, but to these other people, like, they're not like me. So they know that they can burn bridges with words, and they don't want to do that. And so they start like passing around my phone. And like, I don't care. I honestly don't mind any combination of words that comes out of my mouth to anyone. It's just like, in my opinion, some people say I'm socially inept. I think I have my priorities right by judging someone's actions rather than their words. And I feel like if somebody else does the same for me, they'll realize, oh, my words are meaningless. I just say whatever. I don't care about what I say. My actions are meticulously crafted. They're well thought out. I think about them deeply and thoroughly, and have conversations about it with people. and they're not able to go into nearly the level of depth that I've gone into when arguing with me about it because I've thought about it so much. They have to really think about it beforehand, but people don't usually do that. They're so focused on words rather than actions. It's very rare that I find somebody who actually assesses my actions rather than my words, and when that person comes along, then I know I could really be friends with them. So I don't mind, like, just saying random shit, pissing people off, because that's my filter. That's my way of going, oh, you're not on my wavelength, you're not on my level. Like, you have the wrong priorities, and if you're gonna dislike me because of it, hey, works for me. That saves me time. So, at a certain point, my phone dies, and they all start logging into my GroupMe account, and there's like 3 different phones here logged into my account, and they're all saying shit. They're all like passing each other's phones around, and I'm like chiming in here and there, and I have my case. My case is actually at the time it doubled as a speaker and as a portable charger, so I'm charging my phone. It takes a while for iPhones to come back alive, right? So my phone comes back on at a certain point, and then the majority of stuff I'm saying is sort of like inside memes, but at one point I go all out and I like kick the hornet's nest, and to me this isn't any different. Like, I don't see what I said as any different from anything else, but everybody else saw this as crossing the line, and I go like, I say Hong Kong to Ariba for being the rat of the group chat and ratting us all out to the LPTs every time we had a sleepover. And every message that I had before that, everybody was liking those messages. Like, I was getting like 10 to 20 likes immediately after I sent the message. I was like, I'm telling you, bro, I was out here breaking records. And then nobody liked that message. And everyone was like, oh, I wanna hit the like button on it, but I'm scared that they're gonna hate me too. That's literally what they said. So they were, which it's an admittance, they knew that I was gonna get hate for it. They were fine with me getting hated. And I know how considerate of them, but no, actually, like, I think it's because they knew I don't mind. Like, I don't mind letting them use me as a catalyst or a bridge to roast people without any boundaries, right? Because it's not something they get to usually do. Like, that's not something that that's socially acceptable. I don't care what's socially acceptable. So using me to do that, it's like I really don't mind. In fact, I'm happy to do it. It's something that they only get to experience a few times in their life, and I'm happy to be the bridge, be the vessel for them to do it. I actually took a picture. I took a picture right before my phone died. For the second time my phone died while I was there, and hold up. It's in my Google Photos. It's, what is it? Hold up. Restaurants. No, nights. Sammy. Wait, no, okay, yeah. This is it. Okay. This is it. This is the only remaining remnants of that night. This is Sami. He was sitting to the right of me. There was like a table right here. There's people sitting next to him on the other side, left of me right here. This is Chipotle. It was pretty close to my house. And, damn, I forgot who else was there. But yeah, this is the only remaining picture of that night. This is actually kind of an iconic picture when you think about it. The one picture that can clear up the misconceptions. The one and only piece of evidence, and I just deleted it. I mean, I'll upload this, so it's like, it'll stay alive, but the original photo, the original full resolution, high bit rate, or not high bit rate, but uncompressed, well, it compressed, but uncompressed as it was photo, outside of the video compression. The only one remaining just got deleted. But yeah, what was it? Okay, yeah, so everyone stopped liking, like, everyone stopped messaging, because other people were also messaging at the same time. Like it was a super active. Like everybody was going crazy, and then everyone stopped, and nobody said a word in the group chat. Like the silence was palpable, and then like a couple minutes go by, and we're chilling. I'm eating my food, and we're just talking, and Ariba messages in the group chat. She hops in, and she says some shit like she says like, it's hard to remember. She goes like, I'm literally crying right now. Like literal tears are streaming down my face right now. I try so hard, and I tried to make friends with all you guys. I do gymnastics because that's totally related. I don't know why she said that. I don't know why she had to bring up that fact. And they ask you how you are, and you just have to say you're fine when really you're not fine. You just can't get into it. And she was going on and on and on. She wrote like a novel, dude. I think at some point she was like, play me a sad song on the world's smallest violin. I don't know, something like that. But then I left the chat. I left the chat before that. I left the chat immediately afterwards, and then people on their phones showed me what Ariva said. And then people were messaging me, asking me like, hey, bro, are you good? Are you okay and stuff? And see, like, from their perspective, it makes sense that, like, from their perspective, it probably looks like I had a mental breakdown. But then again, I don't know how they would not assume, because it was literally, what was happening was, like, one message was being sent, like, every 2 seconds. I don't know how they didn't see the fact that, like, I was messaging at, like, a rate that stenographers type at. Also the fact that, like, there was, like, 20 people tag teaming me back into the group chat every time I would get kicked out. I don't know how they didn't pick up the pieces and go, oh, wait, something else is going on here. But from their perspective, like, from surface level, it seemed like I was just, like, losing my mind probably, typing at an insane speed. But, from my perspective and from the perspective of the people who were there with me at Chipotle, I was just dicking around. And I guess not with that last post, because even the last post they were like, nah, that's over the line. But I don't consider that last post about Ariba to be anything different than what I said earlier. It's still poking fun at a uncomfortable truth that to be at the heart of someone's character. That's what it is. It's a type of humor. It's a type of joke, and everyone appreciates that sort of thing. But they're like, nah, it's overboard. I'm like, this is the same thing. This person just so happened to have something a bit more damning about them revealed when the joke was stated, but it's still the same kind of joke. But actually, remember, dude, look at this. Remember I mentioned Ashish, the dude who flaked on me multiple times, indecisive, not a man of his word. Look at what he texted me when this is all over. This dude, like, people have such a weird understanding of, like, Ashish. I deleted his number. I delete contacts that I'm not in contact with. I only keep about like 50 to 70 contacts on my phone at any given moment. And if I'm not talking to you on a regular basis, I delete your contact. So even people that I talk to like once every couple months, I don't have your contact. Which means everybody from Mosaic, even like Sami and them, I don't have their contacts. Because it's like, if they message me, I'll just ask who is this, and if they really like fuck with me, they'll tell me who it is. Or I could just ask somebody, hey, whose number is this? Oh, I thought you were doing so well in camp. I don't know why you're trying to cause so many issues. Trust me, you're messing with the wrong people right now. What? What are you trying to say? You do not mess with my family. This is how I imagine it being in his head. You do not mess with my family. If you don't want to be a part of it, then don't. Stay out of it. But do not bully other people. I do not like bullies. I am a part of the Bully Hunter organization. Grow a pair and learn to... Oh, I might have added that in there. Grow a pair and learn to respect the people who helped you out. You messed up big time. Really? I don't see any consequences of what happened. Misconceptions, for sure, but that's always the case. And you're foolish to think that that's not been the case for every word that has ever been said to anybody ever. You are part of a family who accepted you and cared for you, and you screwed that up for yourself. I feel bad for you, bro. It's fine. Blah, 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 blah. It's fine if you want to go out and do all this, like, I don't know. It blows my mind. There's actually a quote. And I did mention it earlier, I think. Damn, dude, I'm in the zone of Mosaic, so it's like I'm not thinking about like what I'm actually even saying, what I said before. But there's a quote that describes it perfectly. There's two quotes actually. This is my quote, which is, "Almost nothing in life should ever be taken seriously." That's mine. And then there's a quote that describes it even better, which is the people a lot smarter than me in the world who actually come up with quotes. And I found this quote later, and it was, "Man suffers because he takes seriously that which the gods made for fun." And I'm like, damn, that's so true. Don't take it so seriously. We're having some fun. We're having a little bit of fun. You taking it seriously is only causing yourself to suffer. And he's like, oh, it's my family, bro. Vin Diesel, my family. So, dude, how much you want to bet he hasn't talked to anyone in that camp in like 5 years? Family, my ass. And even though I don't burn bridges with people, I can see how the thing with the Reba is kind of like from their end, from Ariba's perspective, it can be viewed as that sort of thing, right? But the thing is like I kind of lucked out with that one because the weak, quiet, meek, insecure, not insecure, but like concerned with her appearance, concerned with her image of her personality as to be like not so childish or whatever, like that kind of stereotypical girl you see in anime. Ariba was not that. Like, I'm always open to, if there's ever a bridge burned on any end, it is on the other end, not on my end. I'm always down to talk to anyone in the world about anything, no matter the situation. I even, like, I made it clear earlier in this video, I don't mind talking about taboo subjects. If there's ever a thing that anybody wants to talk to me about, no matter how taboo or weird or who they are or what I might think of them, I'm always down. I'm always down. If you can get in contact with me, then I'm down to talk about it, if I got the time. But I will never ever turn somebody away from a conversation because of what I think of that person or because of the subject matter of the conversation or whatever, you know? And Ariba is like, despite how much she changed, she still had a tiny bit of that like old classic Ariba in her, you know? That's who she is. That's her nature. That like the bold, the like not afraid to say what's on her mind, not afraid to poke fun and stuff. And it's like if she stayed like that throughout her entire childhood, she would have gone through enough drama and experiences like I had to understand the moral dilemma with snitching, even when it's telling people very close to you stuff that they really, really want to know. But she would have understood that like that's betrayal. That's betrayal of someone's trust. And by doing so, it's like it reminds me of that scene in Molly's Game where Molly tells the lawyer like, so you're attempting to establish a rapport of trust and confidentiality with me by betraying the trust and confidentiality of your old clients by giving me dirt on them so that I can use it against you if you leak anything I say. And it's like that same sort of mentality. How can anybody be friends with you if they know, oh, she could just as easily betray me as well? Maybe not just as easily, but she could betray me as well. She would throw me under the bus for her own personal gain. And when you've established that for even one person, for even a person that you don't like, none of your actual friends aren't going to want to be your actual friends. They're going to be pretending. They're going to be faking it. They're basically going to be like hiding stuff from you. They're going to have a fake friendship with you. It's going to be a half measure. And I don't do half measures. For your own personal gain, if you were smart about it, for your own personal gain, you would not betray anyone. You would not establish that you are the kind of person who would do that sort of thing. Because then nobody's going to fully trust you anymore. Nobody will ever be 100% vulnerable with you anymore. Nobody will ever give you that ammo on them. Even closest friends will hold back when saying things against you, consciously or unconsciously. They're going to hold back. So if you truly want to live your best life, you shouldn't betray anyone. But I think it's because she changed her personality so much, she forced it so much, that she got left out of all of these essential, the essential pieces of socialization that happen when you're a kid, when you're experiencing life, when it's not meant to be taken seriously, that teaches you these lessons, these formative lessons that she didn't get to learn because she was so meek and so, I'm so much more mature than these people and all that. Like, no. You're not, and you shouldn't be. That's wrong. And it's good that it's wrong because that's not who you are deep down. Like deep down, she wasn't a pussy. She was not afraid to speak her mind. She wasn't afraid to take risks, to make jokes at other people's expense, at her own expense. When we were kids, I remember what that was like. And she still had some of that left in her. Even if it may have been like 10%. She still had it. When she was a kid, she was like trying super hard, so it felt like the whole thing was snuffed out. But I remember we did see each other afterwards, like a year later at the CNN building, and she didn't avoid me. She didn't like hide like you would think. In fact, she walked right by me when I was with my homies, and I didn't even see her. I was walking, and she goes like, "Oh, hey, Ofu," and just walks away without expecting a response. All dramatic. It was so cool, actually, when I think about it. It was like a movie. It was like a soap opera. That was in 2017, and then she did it again in 2019. And this was at USIG, which I'll leave the link to that video in the description as well. But I didn't even mention her in that video. But she said what's up, and then she asked me how it was going and stuff. And like tried to make conversation, and I was just like giving like one-word responses. If anything, I was a scared one. But then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? So after she left, she went back to her team. I went back to her and I asked her like, what changed? Like, why she stopped being like this, like the old funny Ariba, you know? Like, we had good laughs, dude. We had genuinely good laughs. She was genuinely funny. Bro, there were moments growing up where we were like hanging out together. Like, I remember we were watching TV together at this person's house, and during the fucking commercials, she was saying shit, like she was like roasting people in the ads. And dude, that was I forgot what she said, but some of the shit that she said about the ad, something that she said about one of the ads, like, that was legit one of the funniest moments of my life. She made me laugh more than some of the people. Like, she made me have a moment of laughter that was more intense than some of the people that I'm the closest to now, who make me laugh on a daily basis. It's like, damn, dude. She really had something special going on, you know? And this was all, like, when we were, like, 8 years old or so, you know? 7, 8, 9 years old. And I asked her, I'm like, so what changed, right? What happened? Where did that go? I didn't really get a satisfying answer from her, but it doesn't matter. You know? Misconceptions will exist. Everybody has reasons for the things that they do. Whether they know it or not, everything is done for a reason. And I don't need to know what the reason is, but I know that there is a reason. And that's good enough for me. That's my closure. But yeah, that was the entire Mosaic experience. I had fun. I actually had a lot of fun. Everyone there probably thinks I hated it because I was so like dramatic at the end. But no, I had a blast. Now, was a lot of it like a waste of time? Yeah. It was very filtered and censored and very family friendly and very fake. Would I have rather spent half of that time at home working on shit? Yeah, I'm weird and I don't enjoy fun things the way everybody else does. I get that, yeah, totally. But I still had fun. Doing my own thing, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I could think of. All I gotta say is Hong Kong to Ariba for making me laugh so many times. Way back into a class, in Ginan class, and being such a fun part of such a fun chapter of my childhood. Hit me up if you ever want to get back in that YouTube shit. If you ever see this, or if anybody who knows you sees this and they send this to you, and you ever decide to start doing YouTube again, I got you. I owe it to you. I'll help you out with that. And next is Aluma. Actually, wait, hold up. I'm gonna stop streaming for a bit. I gotta go get some food. I need water right now. My throat's starting to dry up. But when I get back, I'm talking about Aluma, alright? Be right back. Let me just end the stream.